What's up, everyone? Make sure you check out the West Network website at westwestnet.com. Here you can find amazing independent podcasts based in Aotearoa, covering everything from pop culture to mental health. Also, if you enjoy our content and want to support us, please consider clicking on the support button on the homepage of the website. We appreciate your patronage and look forward to delivering more thought-provoking and quality conversations.
West, y'all.
Welcome back, guys. You know what? I say welcome back to all of us because you've been here before, Jordan, and this is our first time back on the Back 145 ever since lockdown.
Straight out of lockdown.
That's cool.
Welcome back, Us.
Thanks for having me back, fellas. Thanks for having me back.
We need to start off with a bang. You know, we need to get out there just like you, man. Like,
We might need a few of those.
because I know, like, with you, because of your gym and that, you would have been another person or business that was affected by this lockdown. How did you cope? You know, what did you get up to, man?
So it was the lockdown happened. It was funny because it was my birthday, so it was the day before my birthday. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. And then I was like, oh, tomorrow we're going into lockdown. I was like, oh, I'm not going to tell anyone it's my birthday. But yeah, in August, and then we just thought it was like, the same thing, a week. Let's just go back to Zoom sessions and that.
Well, because remember when she said it, this was the narrative, the short and sharp coming out, and she said, no, it's going to be short and sharp.
Yeah, we're going to hit hard.
Yep, hit it hard, and get it out of here, Delta, see you later.
Just like we did last time.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, well, that's what we thought, and then you're just waiting and, you're like, okay, cool, another week, that's all good. And then you're like expecting, I think maybe week 4, I was like, it's level 2 next. It's going to be level 2. She's going to announce level 2. I'll make the markings, the 2 meter distance markings at the gym. So I went down there, did that, and then all of a sudden we just, it was week after week after week. And it was just really frustrating because you didn't know what was happening, because it was always like, we just have to wait and see. And it was like always, like you couldn't future plan anything, and things are always changing, like the goalposts are always moving and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was tough. And we were one of the industries, like us hairdressers, fitness, hairdressers, all those close contact places that was like, no, can't open, can't do anything. So yeah, at the beginning I thought it was just, let's just do Zoom for a couple of weeks and we'll be all good. And then I'd on a Saturday, Sunday night, I would write my plans for the week, and I'd go week 1 of lockdown, then week 2 of lockdown, and all of a sudden I'm on week 10, week 11. I was like, man, I'm on week 10, 11 of lockdown. But it didn't affect me as much because we had a really good membership base, and they were all so supportive. They 95% of them just said, we're just going to carry on paying our membership, and we'll jump on Zooms when we can, or we'll get the workouts off here every day and we'll do them when we can. But they just supported, which was really, really, really cool, and really grateful for that. And so they were like, oh, I'm so grateful that you give us all these exercises and all these classes and stuff. But I was always telling them, I was like, no, I'm grateful for you guys, because without you guys, all that other stuff wouldn't still be there. So we were lucky that we didn't get hit financially hard, and sort of lucky. We didn't qualify for a government subsidy or anything like that. So it was just hard. And then all the mandate stuff, started coming out. She went backtracked on that as well. Like we'll never mandate it, and then they started to mandate things and started to get frustrated. Like, why am I going to work in this new environment? But yeah, then everything just started to change, and and then it was like decisions were made not for our health but for our convenience. Yeah, like, why are we going into level 3 if the cases are climbing up? Shouldn't we stay in what we're at? And but the message was always our health, and it was for our health. It's like, yeah, I know, but man, like, so many people need need this exercise. I've heard so many of like the people like, thank you, man. I so needed this workout, or this is what I needed to keep me sane from the kids and all that sort of stuff. And you sort of realize how much exercise and training was bigger than just going to the gym, and pumping up weights. It was like community. It was, for people's mental health and all that as well.
Because the thing about gyms like yours, F45 and that, a lot of it's about the push. It's about the encouragement. When you're struggling to do that last set, and that kind of helps build up people's character. Or when you've got someone like you, or your other trainers there, really encouraging people, it's helping them break that barrier. Go through that pain. That pain threshold, and that's, I think, what people, you could just tell that people really miss that kind of interaction,
Yeah, because our style is like class-based. You come in for a certain amount of time, there's a trainer there, and, they push you through the session. Our style, F45, and heaps of other places as well, they do that style. It's that, but, it's that sense of camaraderie. It's like you've been pushed through the trenches, and you've gone through it together, and you've been amazed that, wow, look what we just did. Like so many people will take a picture of the exercise board and like post up, we did that, all those sort of things, like makes them feel really good about themselves. And that's been really good, to really see how important that is for people. When we went to, what was it, level 3.5, and you could go outside, and then they said, you could go outside, but no more than 9 people and 2 bubbles. And like, whoa, but if it's a gym, is it 2 bubbles? And then they backtrack, like, wow. The next day I was like, no, 9 people, 10 people, 10 bubbles, but including the trainer, so we could only have 9 people.
And that was coming back to your comment about the convenience thing, because that's what really got me confused when they started to do those 0.2, 0.3.
Yeah.
And they called it, what do they call it? They called it like, we're slowly getting out of lockdown. But it's still 3 point something.
Yeah.
And every week is a different rule.
So they done the 3 point this, 3 point that, and then they went, you know what? We're going to introduce the light system, but the light system is just, you're using lights to use the number. You're still using that kind of 2.5, 3 point. 3.5 system, but you've just put lights to it,
It's branded differently.
That's right, that's right. They've just, And I guess I'm just saying, because there's just a lot of frustration out there, and especially for businesses like you, like, people kind of get that, like, they think it's an anti-vax kind of narrative, but it's not. It's kind of like a pro-freedom, or they just really, there's a lot of frustration in people that they weren't getting listened to, and
It's really hard, because you're right. Like, you could have a view of freedom, or pro-choice, and it's okay to have those choices, but you get classed as an anti. Like, we got to be really careful what you say, and who you say it to.
Yeah.
And so, we're in our gym, but 10% of people, choose not to be vaccinated, but you don't want to isolate these people. They need support as well, and a lot of them, fitness is that thing that gets them out of that dark place that they're in as well. And so, like, I just said, when you're having to make these decisions as we move into the traffic light system, like, it's very hard. It was hard for me to compute it, because what I saw was okay, cool. I've just been through 3 months of the toughest 3 months, and I've had all these people who've supported me, paid their membership, done the classes online, followed all the rules and regulations. But from the red line, when we can go back in the gym, I have to tell them, no, sorry, go away. Thank you, but no thanks. Yeah.
Thanks for your support. Through this tough time. But I've been told that.
You're not welcome. Or you're
and
not.
That's the one thing I don't like. I'm not. Because I'm double vaccinated. I done it, like, they keep pushing it. I done it because of my because my dad, and then, but what I don't like is, like, some people when they're vaccinated, they take this stance, like, I'm above you, and that's the one thing I don't like, is because I have a very close friend at work who's very well read, And he's some stuff he talks about. I'm like, oh, okay then. But a lot of the other stuff that he says makes sense. Like I think I was telling Cams the other time, because my mate, he's old school, so he makes his own vitamin C, wakes up every morning, makes his smoothies, and eats well. Takes care, always gets an exercise, and he's not getting the vax because he said, if I stay healthy, I feel like I can combat the COVID. And I went like this, okay then, well that's if that's what you want to do, I don't mind, because the narrative was always, let's get to 90%. And I thought, okay, if we get to 90%, which we are, we're 1% away from, as Aucklanders, then why can't we just let the 10% be? That was my kind of...
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. Why can't we just go back to living together, you know? And it was really hard when you have to make those calls, and how that can be perceived, as, like people will take it the wrong way and all that. And I was like, no, just want to show these people that we still care for them, because that was all, take away that decision of getting vaccinated or not. The person is still a good person. They're still that guy's still your mate. It didn't change anything about them. And I always thought, we should come at people with a place of like empathy and compassion, because no one walked through their shoes. You didn't live their life to know why that they've made this decision.
Nice.
And I was never going to be a person that wanted to push my ideals onto someone else. It's like, well, that's the way they feel, and if they choose not to protect themselves, and that's all. Like they've vilified them now that they've already killed 100 kids. Well, they don't even have it.
That's it.
Like and some of the arguments that they make, some of them make sense, or some of them like, oh, well, that's quite logical.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised New Zealand took that stance to have no alternative even.
Yeah.
You had to get the vaccine on. There's no other option.
Yeah.
And I thought, for a country like New Zealand, there's always going to be options for people.
Yeah.
That's why we got social welfare and all that kind of stuff that other countries don't have, alternatives. But yeah, just the fact of them just saying that, and like you guys talking about, what about healthy people? Isn't there studies out there that say if you're real healthy, then you can overcome COVID and then be immune naturally to COVID?
Yeah.
And then what happens? Are those people the same as people that are
vaccinated? Because there's
antibodies.
There's those antibodies that people say you get antibodies, and it gives you some natural immunity when you get it. So
I mean, these are all just questions out there that are just,
and I think,
blocked out.
Yeah.
We don't want to go there. Just take the vaccine.
And because we're living in a world of unknowns, we don't know how to combat this, because it has been made up on the spot because it is new.
They've never had to deal with anything like this. So you can also understand where Jacinda.
She's making to make some hard calls.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It would just be nice if there was a road that you could see that we could all live together again. That we're not seeing, that one person for their choice to make to not be vaccinated.
The thing about social media is if I'm on Twitter or Facebook, it's just that how people go hard on the comments. When I always say don't read the comments, and then I read them, I'm like, I just can't. It's just a back and forth, and just the real where everyone's coming from. They're just taking the stance, and there's, like you said, there's a lack of empathy, and that's what I don't like, because I'm like, man, this isn't the New Zealand that I know. This isn't the New Zealand that I grew up being proud of. Us being, us against them kind of thing. I've always thought that we were a really progressive country, or a country that was very empathetic or very tolerant of everyone. But it's just that when you read because when you read some comments like, man, I hope they get it and they die kind of stuff, I'm like, are we at that stage now? Hey, there's for example, Steve Oliver's gym. If you read the comments on Facebook, there's people like, oh man, good on you for being inclusive, understanding that, but you don't want to divide people. You're either vaccinated or unvaccinated, but we can come together. And the rest of the gym follow him because they think that's the way you should look at it. And then you've got the other people look at them, they're going to be killing the the children, our children, and they're going to take it out to the, I'm like, how will we like to look into it, like read or see why he's doing it, or the reasons why he's doing it?
Yeah. He, we follow those obviously, because he's in the media and stuff. And we were making, when we went, I was like, I got to make some calls, like I'm a very inclusive person, and everyone, I treat people with who they are, Like, I'm not going to look at your title or your decisions that you make and all that. I'll treat you for the person that you are and the interactions that we have, the relationships that we have, and build that relationship. And there was a lot of people that I would have had to, I had a relationship with these people for 10 years that they've been coming to my, do my classes and stuff, that you might have had to say, see ya. And so we try to look at how we can make it work and not break the, like stay within the rules, because, we're trying to be compliant as well, but make it so you don't sin. So we do like sessions outside and sessions inside. So we'll do sessions like tomorrow morning is like Tuesday and Thursday morning, 5:30, it's outside. And we're just doing it at the trust, and we'll I was just, my message just before we jumped on was like telling the guys, hey guys, tomorrow, rain or shine, we're at the trust, don't think we're not going to just train or call it off, because the people that aren't, that's someone's opportunity to have to get their exercise and get their training in. And so that was the stance that we said we'll just do indoor and outdoor, and people can have a choice. Like if you know that the outdoors for everyone, you can choose not to do it, or you can choose, well, actually I'm vaccinated, I feel happy, and all that sort of stuff, and you can choose to partake or not. So yeah, like I think there's a lot of our gyms that are trying to do that as well. That trying to not exclude anyone. I think I've seen on like Instagram and I'm not sure if this is what they're doing, but like the Arena Fitness, the CrossFit gym, I see that they've got people set up inside and people set up outside, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. If that's what they're doing, I'm not sure if that's what they're doing, but I'm pretty sure it would be to be compliant to say, hey guys, we'll have some people outside and some people inside. We're lucky it's summer, or apart from this week when it's supposed to be raining all week, but last week was good. I've got a full week of outdoor sessions. They didn't get hindered by the thing, but what happens if we're still in this position come June, and then you're like, oh, what do we do, like to cater for, be inclusive. Do we have to like either say no, we can't do it in the winter, or do we just sort of say rain or shine, we're outside? It was horrible outside at 5:30 in the morning, in winter over here. So, but we'll just, I think, we'll just play it by, things will change. Things may change.
Well, like I was saying that to one of the boys, because my sister got the text for her booster shot, and then they were like, oh, well, we're going to have to get it in 6 months too. And I went, well, we don't know where we're going to be as a country, or where COVID's going to be. We might not have to get booster shots, or, we might be able to, be more, like be in a place that we don't have to really, they won't push the boosters unless you feel that you need to get it. So I was just saying to them, it's been like that for the last couple of months, where they're just playing it on the fly. So, let's hopefully by that time, by winter comes,
and I don't think, they don't have that data yet, eh?
Yeah, no, that's
they
right.
Don't have that data to say, well, actually, yeah, the 90% is working. Well, it seems like it is, because our cases are sort of going under 100 now. Like,
yeah,
like it's tracking that way, and they'll have those up days and down days, for whatever. We just have to wait and see what happens when we open up the border, and everyone's able to travel next Wednesday, and see what happens with the cases then. But this is what it is. Just got to take it. We're just going to work up to Christmas and then figure it out after that.
Well, the YouTube algorithms are going to pick all this COVID talk and vaccine talk up, because that's what happened with the last one. Yeah. And,
so the last one. But I think now we're allowed to put this on Spotify.
Oh, okay.
As a video. I don't think they have rules. But we did a podcast where we talked about the vaccine.
Yeah. And it was
early, eh?
Yeah, but it wasn't about pro or against vaccine. It was like we had was it Patrick and we had them on. They were talking about their views on the vaccine, and we were like, oh, okay, because we didn't, you know, I didn't really know what the vaccine was about, and he was giving us, you know, the studies and all that. And then like this guy said, he put the video up, and he got a warning from YouTube. Yeah,
False information.
yeah. Yeah, but see,
Got
what
taken down.
we talked about was just more like our experiences, our views on what it's doing to people, not whether it's effective or not. You know.
Yeah, you were saying before about the narrative on things, You know, like it's like the only narrative that you're supposed to say is the whatever the you know they're telling us to say.
Yeah, the media and
it's
the
a
government,
vaccine.
yeah.
It's a vaccine.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but it's normal for people to question things. You know, like we should be questioning
Yeah.
things. We should be growing up to like not just take what you've been told is sacred. You know, like that's how we progress as a country, or you know, as a society. You know, otherwise we'd be still like, you know, women wouldn't vote, and you know, and you know,
right.
there wouldn't be any like, you know, diversity things, you know, with gay rights and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's good that we question stuff, and you know, and we hold people accountable to explain yourselves. All we want to know is why. Yeah.
Well, I think the problem, you know, where even with the pro-choice and the anti-vaccine people had, was a person that they had at the front of the campaign. When you've got someone like Brian Tamaki as divisive as he is, you know, if they had someone else, you'd probably see other people, more people at the marches.
What was
Because-
the yachting
double
guy?
the numbers of
Yeah, they
someone.
would.
What was the yachting guy? Russell Coots?
Yeah, Russell Coots.
Saw that post. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you had but it was just because it's the vessel that it's coming in. It's the front person, you know, like, yeah, I think he might be right, but you know, I don't want to be seen, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the way it was delivered, eh?
Yeah, that's right. Because you know, when I watched because I watched it, because I love watching everything, man. I watch, you know, because I want to see, you know, if you want to make an opinion and read both sides, or read, get both sides of the story, then you can go, okay, this is why I believe what I believe. So I watched the first rally, right? I said, oh, you know, because this is how it went. So we were at work, and me and the boys were like, oh, what are you doing today? I said, man, I was going to go to that march. And I went, you know, we'll just watch it online. We're on our lunch break. So we went on lunch break. First thing we go to, it's the Herald, right? And the Herald goes, oh, a few hundred people turning up to the domain. Oh, shucks, it looks like this is going to be a fizzer. I went on Facebook Live, mate. It all looked like there was a couple of thousand people there, and I went, "Hey, I just read on the Herald that, you know, it's hardly anyone there." And then I thought, you know, everyone's like up there and doing their speeches, and then he got up, and I went, "Oh, yeah, okay then, you know, okay, this sounds more like a launga than, you know." And that I was just thinking, if there was someone else out there, would people change their view? Would the media change it? But, you know, because the media have already got that kind of view of Brian Tamaki, they can just attack that part of it, of the argument. You know, if they had, you know, I was just saying to the boys, man, if it was Richie McCaw, hey, I guarantee you they're having at Mount Smart Stadium, you know, or Eden Park, only because of who he is. You know, we know that probably he wouldn't be that person, but I'm just saying someone of that stature.
Yeah.
Hey.
You sometimes would think, what would Richie do? You know, like,
yeah. Well, man,
he's sort of got that presence to
That's
himself
right.
that you'd listen.
But do you guys honestly think if they would let Richie McCaw stand up there,
oh no,
Oh no.
they will
way.
never let him do
man.
that?
He might be like that.
The reason why we're seeing someone get up there because they let him do it. Yeah, go do it.
Yeah.
Go make a fool of
That's
yourself.
right, yeah.
Go make a fool of yourself.
Yeah. But Richie might be like that Chinese tennis player. You know, have anyone heard from that guy? He came out with a tweet and he just wrote a letter and slid it under the table, under the door here. But he says he's all right. You know?
Oh no, he really sounded like conspiracy.
Oh
theories.
yes, yeah. No, we're not about that.
No,
we're
no,
not
no,
about
no,
that.
no.
But I mean, I'm just, you know, it's just funny
Yeah.
because
I think it's nice to listen. You know, I think if you're too far like left or too far right, you know, when you're all the way,
Yeah.
either way,
That's the
it's hard.
problem.
You know, you sort of have to have a little
Yeah.
bit of grey there,
yeah,
and you have to sort of have a little bit of understanding. You know, like, yeah, generally it seems to have worked. You know, like you know, numbers are going down. We're getting more. We're out a little bit more, and hopefully it tracks down again. But you know, if you're I would say if you back a dog into a corner, they're going to come out biting.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these people, they're just being backed into a corner. Of course they, express their opinions because, tell them they're stupid or, why are you dumb thinking that thing? And or like,
that's what I hate.
You can't go into the, look at this coffee that I'm drinking at my cafe. You can't. And I was like, why are you doing that?
That's another thing that I really irked me was people would go online. Like if someone, like there was that bakery up in Kumu, and they said, "Oh, look, we don't care if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. Come on, and we don't discriminate."
That's
and,
right.
Yeah, and then this person goes, "Oh, well, I finally found a place that I'm not going to go to. Chances are you were never going to go there because you're from Wellington and this is up in Kumu." And that's when I cracked up because then I started reading the comments. Oh, mate, it's people tagging even. Oh, let's avoid this. Let's avoid this bakery. Look at them. And I want. Why would you do that? Like it's a smear campaign. Now you're all going after this person because all they said was.
I was worried that when I was doing outdoor, like when I announced my along every step along the way, I was talking to my members about it. We're going to get our little messenger group, and I was like, "Hey guys, what would we, would this work? Would this work?" And so, like, when we went to 9 people, and I just went, "Okay, guys, I'm going to do 4, 5, 6," because I did one class, 9 people, it just like that, it would fill up, and so we'd just do like 3 classes in a row just to get 3 lots of 9 and have 27 people in. And then we saw people doing like 2 groups of 9 and stuff like that. And I was like, "Hey guys, you've seen heaps of people do like 2 groups of 9. Would you guys be comfortable doing that and we'd make our own rules that you would have to be 5 meters apart, group 1 from group 2, and that would help with the numbers." And then they were, they're like, "Yeah, would be comfortable with that." It's like, "Cool, we'll do that." I'll still have the Zoom sessions on, and I still do them. Like I'm walking around with my tablet, and people are on Zoom, and people are in the class, just to offer that another level that they can still access it, but still feel safe in whatever they whatever they believe. So yeah, we were doing. I thought when we were doing that, when I put out that when we went to red level, I said, "Okay, we're going to do 4 p.m.s are going to be outdoor, 2 5:30. The Saturday's going to be outdoor, and that's for everyone. The ones in the gym is for the 100% vaccine. You need to show your passport and stuff." And I was worried that I might have got some, like some feedback, like what are you doing? Providing these, I was like, but I put it out there. I was waiting to see if we got anything back, but I haven't yet. So I'm lucky there as well. But I think, yeah, it's like if you've got a problem, come talk to me, and I'll explain to you why. Well, I'll talk through my thought process. And I think when we do that, you don't just go, "Oh, I hate that guy because he's wearing a Raider shirt," whatever. Like his Raider shirt, I hate him.
And that's what happened to that bakery.
Yeah.
Like no one went up to them to ask what they were talking about.
Yeah.
But when I read that comment, I read that tweet too, and nothing bad. There's nothing bad about it. What they said, said we're not trying to be Nazis here. Just we're allowing anyone to come in our shop.
Yeah, and they could have said, where everyone's still got to wear their mask.
Yeah,
you still got to do the 2 meter
Yeah.
thing. No one stays in. It's like a click and like when you come in, you go. There's noise.
And there was a coffee shop down in Wellington that was quite popular, and then they said the same thing. Look, we'll still serve you. It doesn't matter whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. Come to the store, show adhere to the rules, and then just the comments. "Oh man, I'm not going there again. Oh, I used to really like this place, but it looks like I'll be giving it a miss."
Well, I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not. Well, I didn't read up till later whether they were still, but it was a really popular place, and then now they've they've been smeared, or they've been blackmarked, and that's what I don't, or blacklisted. That's what I don't like.
Yeah,
is that kind of that gang mentality. It was like, no, we're gonna shut you down because you're not adhering, and I don't like that.
Because we have to think about it, the first line of defense is a mask and 2 meter distancing, right? Because if you're vaccinated, you're still gonna pass it anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
But with the masking and the 2 meter distance, then you're probably 100% safe.
Yeah,
if you stick to that.
Yeah.
Oh, we're at 90%. We're at 90%
Anyway,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think they just have to see it go through, and people, at the top, they're probably just taking a real cautious approach. You can see some of those guys,
the
virologists or something like that, yeah. And like you can see, like they seem really cautious. Or we should stay inside for another 2 years or whatever it is. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. That doesn't work for like Pacific Islanders. Like we need to be around other people. We be around our family. Like so much of that is so important to our well-being.
I mean, off the top of your head, okay, there's over 90% in the DHB of out west, right?
Yeah, we got 90%.
90%. We're over 90% now. Yeah. So what's the percent? What percentage is someone unvaxxed going to come in your shop in West Auckland?
1 of every 10.
That's what I don't, because that's the one thing man, I'm glad people are getting vaccinated if they, because that's what they're supposed to do. But all you hear was, like, they just kept hammering in 90%, 90%. So people were like, okay, we've done this for you. Or, we've all, as a collective, come together and we made sure that we've hit this 90%. Now we should be going back to, they'll think, we should have been at Orange last week, something like that. And then I think that's where a lot of the frustration is, for most people, especially business owners as well, because, this is the time of year that you need to be, fully open or being able to take in all numbers,
a lot of those retail places like that, eh? Yeah. They, I had a friend who owns a bakery, cafe type of thing, and they were saying, like people were giving them stick for not checking people's passes and stuff. And they were like, but we're takeaway, and you can. And I said, you can. I saw a news article that they'd changed the rules that takeaways, like fish and chip shops and stuff, can be like click and collect. You come in, you collect your stuff, and you go. So you can you don't need to because no one's sitting inside. But like even that, like you're not checking. Like these people who think they need to be the police.
Oh, the Karens. You mean the Karens? Yes. And that's what I don't like.
You said it.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be like a, what do you call it? Like the honor. It's an honor system, eh?
Yeah.
The passport thing, pass thing. That's why it's easy to just snapshot and give it to your mate, and he does it. It's an honor.
Yeah. But I mean, if you do want to, you don't want to do that, man. That's.
I don't know.
I don't think it's going to end well.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You want to try to do things right.
That's right.
Yeah. You always want to try to do things right, but you also want to.
Because I remember at work, everyone would go, this is so stupid. There's no photo of you, so how did they know it's you?
That's what
everyone says, eh? Yeah. And but I think it's just the honor system, like. As long as you got it.
It's only the bars though, eh? Like at this point they're going to reinforce that if you have that, they're going to ask for a photo ID, and that's where you'll get.
Well, I was out on last night and I just got scanned in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to pull up my ID in, but they just scanned me in.
Yeah.
So I was like thinking, maybe this is. Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
Do it.
Well, that's on the business then, eh?
Yeah.
So if they're willing, I mean, how hard are they going to go on adherence or just enforcing that the checks?
Yeah. And the police, the police are busy anyway,
Oh yes.
And they've got it mandated, so they're going to lose, they're going to lose some staff because of it and be short staffed again, and then they've got to come in and check at gyms using the things or cafes and that and.
Looks like the police are busy anyway.
They're busy,
gang violence.
The gang violence around out here.
Man. Honestly, it was like a shooting a week.
Yeah.
On end of October, all of pretty much November.
You'd wake up in the morning and people are like, "Are you alright?" And you're like, "Wait, why are you saying that?"
Yeah.
You read the news and like, "Oh, that's why."
Yeah, or like if there was a shooting, it'd be like text friends and family that are in the force. Hey, you alright?
Yeah.
Because that's your first thought is, oh man, I hope whoever hope no one died, and secondly I hope none of my family or friends or any cop was involved, or because it's just pretty crazy at the moment.
It's definitely I think that that violence is definitely picked up. Like that sort of stuff. If it's gangs or not, that sort of real physical, guns and stuff. You being used. Like 10 years ago, we would never need to use guns. Why would we need? Now it's sort of like, well, actually, maybe our police officers do need to be armed, or there needs to be, dedicated units that needs to be armed, which it was never a thought, when we were growing up. But yeah, it seems like that level of violence has really picked up in our community now.
Yeah, I think it's the media attention too. The media attention to gangs has been a lot this year. Especially with the the thing about the 501s coming over. There's been big stories on that.
Yeah.
And even that those gang guys that got caught off the KFC jumping the Auckland border from Hamilton.
they make for good headlines, if you're the media,
Maybe some good distraction.
Yeah, true that. but the other thing is the amount of guns that are out there. Because the thing is, and I'll be honest, I've never been anywhere here in New Zealand or Auckland, West Auckland. I've never seen anyone say, I've just got a gun over here, and it just seems when you hear all these people and, found with firearms or, shots were, especially that house. I felt sorry for that family in, I think it was Mangere. They had to move because their house had been shot over like 20 times because they were just always mistaken for the neighbor or something. Yeah. And I thought, oh man, imagine sleeping having to live in fear that someone's going to come and shoot your house up.
Someone comes to 20A instead of 20B.
Yeah. Honestly, I'll put a sign up at the front. This isn't the house. Yeah. The house you're after is 2 houses down.
Paint your house a different color, right?
Yeah, that's it.
It's not the red house.
I spoke about this on MC the Clip, but we were talking about that guy that got sentenced, the guy that shot the cop up in Massey.
Matthew Hunt.
Oh, I saw that. They've sentenced him.
Yeah, 27 years.
But they showed the gun on TV. It was bloody.
Oh man.
Assault rifle.
Yeah.
Assault rifle.
Well, when you watch the videos and you can hear the shots. So there's someone's camera outside the back of the house, and then you can hear it and it's like a thud, and then you can get a grasp of that's not like a little handheld gun there, man.
Sorry, that's not even a hunting gun, man. That's a war gun. That's like going to war.
Yeah.
And this guy, gangster, do that. It's like, man, that's sad, man.
Yeah. Well, just where are they getting these assault rifles from anyway? But
oh man, they're all those criminals. They have ways, eh? They've got their ways.
Yeah. I guess I'm still in that naive. No, it can't happen out west,
Yeah.
But then it's been so, yeah.
When you hear those $10 million of whatever pulled up on a ship on PR or something,
Yeah.
Oh, somene's gonna have a gun to protect that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
something's gonna.
The latest one was those baggage handler guys, at the airport. And they had the bags. And I remember sitting at work with one of the boys. I went, man, crime pays well if you, because they had these big bags. They had money. They had all these $50 notes.
That's right.
Stacks, man.
It was a martial artist guy.
What? That was the other guy. That was bringing in. He had the guns and all that. But I was like, like you said, you've got to protect your interest or your property. So there's no other way to protect it then.
Manuvalavai. Oh man.
Yeah, that's
another one.
It's pretty. It's pretty funny how much of a pull that lifestyle has on people.
Yeah.
And especially in money and even a lot of sports stars seem to have done that. Honestly, it's just really. The fact that you had everything, your fame, you got paid well, but that lifestyle there or something, I don't know about it. But.
Well, you notice that with the NFL, a lot of the NFL players, they fall back into it's because where they're from, I wonder if it's just the pool of just where you've come from. You don't want to be too much on the A-list side or that kind of stuff, but you still want to be representative of where you come from. So you still so once you that like finish, you just fall back into those old.
Yeah, I guess
Well,
it's like you're always still a product of your environment,
That's right. Yeah.
So you're always going to be, I think that guy. What was that guy who chased LeBron on the court? You know that.
Isaiah Stewart.
Yeah.
Mm.
And look at the dude. He's like, that guy's just probably like a gangster from some ghetto and in cities. Just when someone tests, he snaps, and he goes back to that mentality.
He's had a few run-ins with a couple of NBA guys. So that's his mentality. He's a dog, man. He's just ready to attack. Yeah. Because that one, I was like, no, this is like those scenes outside a nightclub. He goes, just stop. No. Get off me, I'm like, okay.
Go the other way.
Yeah, that's right. No, I'm all right. And then run back, and I'm like, oh man, this is like a night outside base bar or something,
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no. So it's hard to think that these, that's always going to come back at you. Like your upbringing is 20 years of your life. That stuff is going to be hard to get. To just forget, So I think all those sort of things are good. Like sometimes they can be good too. Like if you're always a family man and you grew up in a strong family. Once you make it, you think about we, not me. Like I'm thinking about how do I uplift us as a community, my village, my community. What am I doing for my community? So I think those sort of things. If that's your environment, they can be positive things too when you do make it like this. You like get up big and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that'd be good.
That's a lot of NRL players have been. They still have, especially over in Oz, they have connections to gangs and that. Like some of those guys they've ended up leaving the NRL and going into, because that's like that bikie gang culture is huge in Australia, and that's the reason why when they bring these 501s back and then they get into here and they just show, because they're ruthless over there, right?
But the NRL culture, like they play hard and they work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
And you saw the video shot of what's his name, with the cocaine party. Storm guys.
Monster and well, it was never confirmed that went stuff. So we, you can't make those kind
could
of
be changing the baby's nappies.
Yeah, that's right. They could have. Someone might have started on a Tic Tac and it turned it into powder form or something like that.
But they're in that sort of environment.
But I think it is a culture thing. Eh?
Yeah, it is.
Like work hard, play hard.
Yeah. Especially there in Australia, especially in Sydney. Eh?
Yeah.
Especially when you're in Bondi Beach and those areas, but didn't think got in trouble. Walsh,
Reece Walsh,
Reece Walsh had some drugs on him when going out in the clubs and that.
Yeah, I think it's it's probably like also a little bit of a like that teenage fantasy to be gangster. I'm a gangster type of thing, and then you sort of you're always wanting to be like like emulating those sort of things because you look up to those things. I remember one of the boys I was working with, he was like, I want to be a gangster. I was like, what does gangster mean to you? And he was like, you go to work, you make heaps of money, you got a mean ass ride, and you look after your family. I'm like, cool. So what about being a criminal about that is being gangster? So I'm a bit of a gangster then. I said, what do you mean? He's like, well, pretty nice car, and we get paid pretty well, and I'll make sure I look after my people. And he goes, and they had to think about it, eh? It's like, yeah, it's like, I mean, like, this is, big, you always say that's about people who work hard. Man, that guy's gangster ass, man. It's like, there's another connotation to the word gangster, or like, this, like, I remember we were doing this bushwalk. We did this camp with the caregivers and kids. We did this bushwalk, and there was this carer, and she was like in her 50s, possibly even 60s. This big 20 kg pack on. I was like, you want me to take some of that load off? I'll carry your bag for you. And she's like, nah. And my first thought, man, that lady's gangster, man. She's just like, she's a hard, she was just there like bent over. I was like, you sure you want me to I can take your bag for you? And she's like, no, I got it. I was like, man, that lady's so gangster. Just tough, let's build people to be tough and strong, not like to always complain about things or, like, how am I going to get what I want easy. Yeah, it's like, no, man, it's hard.
Mm.
Yeah, it's hard. Things that are good, that you acquire that are good in life are hard to get. If they were easy, then everyone would have it. So yeah, that's always keep that in mind when I'm like, man, that's gangster. Yeah.
I just finished reading Sonny B. Williams' autobiography.
Yeah.
And he talked about when he made it to NRL at the Bulldogs, he was coming up, and he wasn't used to the party scene. It was the first time he drank, first time experienced like women.
Yeah, but he went over there really young.
Going out with the boys and that. Yeah.
Like 15 or something.
And even though he was around it when he was young, because his parents drank, had parties, his older brother as well. He talks about it in the book. And but it was not until he was at NRL when he got experienced that life. And it's that was sort of the reason why he left. Like everyone thinks that he left because of the money. Remember he did that contract? He broke his contract,
Yes, as a Bulldogs fan, I know that very well.
Went to Toulon.
He went to Samoa.
Samoan
Good
passport.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, you seeing the angles, man. Went and hooked up with our mate Sana Umanga over there.
Yeah. But I don't think he talked about it, like the reasons why. But in the book, he talks about like he was depressed because he said he lost his identity when he was around the boys after the games, like at the bars, and he got drunk and like been doing stupid stuff.
People can bag on Sonny Bull. Hey, that guy's a good guy, eh? Like you listen to what he says. He says like real positive stuff. Like everyone like when I work hard and do this.
Yeah, because when he found Islam, that's when he really pushed the way he was.
Yeah,
because he's like a thoughtful guy anyway. Like he's like, he's compassionate and that kind of stuff. He's a good guy. But when he found Islam, like that really took him, to a place where he was comfortable being.
Maybe that was the thing too, because they don't drink in Islam. That he was able to change his environment to say, I'm not hanging around with those sort of people. I'm with these guys and they don't drink, and it allows me to be who I am.
Because he was a pretty focused kid. Like all he loved was rugby league, and that was it. He didn't like school, didn't like anything else but rugby league. So I think that focus, that's the only thing he could do.
Well, if you look at him, and everything that he does, he's like they always say he's one of the hardest trainers.
Professional.
He's professional, and I guess that comes with, and that discipline that you have to show as being a Muslim or following Islam is, you've got your daily prayers, you've got to eat certain foods, and there's that time of fasting as well.
Ramadan.
Yeah, Ramadan. When you can only eat in the
sundown to sun.
Yeah, that's right. You can't eat, and that, and I guess that probably those kind of principles really are the exact same things that he believes in, because he's so disciplined. He's,
I don't even think they can. I don't even think they can drink.
Yeah,
so I think he would go to like a training, and bust out a training and not have a sip of water, because it was against the.
Yeah.
Just you can see how mentally strong that would have made him.
Yeah.
Like how he could have just got up. If you can get up after that with not having any water, when you are fully hydrated, how much more power or strength that you have knowing that.
Yeah.
Well, if I can do that then and get up, I'm sure I can. This will makes it even easier. Yeah.
I was just thinking, if you're a gym, we always see, I follow all these gym places, and people who like to come out like The Rock and that, who have these inspirational quotes and stuff like that. Is there anyone that you take, you like to take kind of their sayings or their kind of philosophies and kind of install in the gym or teach through what you do?
No, not anyone specifically. I think you take a little bit from everyone. Everyone does. You go and you and it doesn't have to be anyone just on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever. It can be from anything, any walk of life. But I've definitely tried to instill things in our gym that will help people long term.
Not just physically.
Not just physically, and be really holistic with it. So one of the one of the messages that we were pushing on the last challenge when we had this thing was like, let's be part of the team, and like we're really trying to build community, so pick each other up, and like when you book, pad holder, it's your job to get your boxer through it. Or they fail, you pick them up, tell them some good words. It's powerful to tell someone, positive things, So we did this thing for the last challenge, and it was team, be part of the team. It's like team, and then we use T as trust the process. So trust the process is one of the things that we would always say. It's like, hey, look, like you're gonna have ups and downs, but you gotta exercise, eat well, trust the process, keep on doing it. Don't worry if you fail, it's okay. And then we made the E, enjoy the process. Have fun. Enjoy the process. It's not a chore, Go in here because you love doing it. Do the things that if it's boxing, do boxing, And so sometimes when one of the ladies, the lady who won our Biggest Loser challenge, man, she did so awesome. Well, not biggest, our summer shred, we called it. She lost like 27.2 kgs, and for for a female, like because we split it that a male would win and a female would win, and she lost the most weight, and for a female to lose more weight than some of the males, like that's really impressive because males we lose it a lot easier. But she was always like trust the process, and every now and then I'd walk up, are you enjoying the process? And she'd start nodding, like I'm feeling really good because I can do a burpee now, or like so. Just sort of like that mental side, work on the brain, like work on the mental. The body can do so much stuff. You just got to work on the mind. And so so that was the E. And then the A was attitude reflects effort. So if you got a bad attitude, your effort's going to be bad. You got a good attitude, your effort's going to be good. Yeah. So we
that explains a lot for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's always like no negative dudes. Like don't come in here all negative. Like let's change it. When people are negative, you see them negative, pick that person up. Make sure that they've switched the attitude. So we would always say, attitude reflects effort. Shitty attitude, shitty effort. You're not going to get much. And then the last one we did mindset. Our mindset is for the M. Mindset is to work hard. Yeah, this ain't easy. This ain't like this isn't like for the gram type of thing. Like you get in and work hard. Yeah. Do I have to do 2? Yeah. Pick up 2 bloody dumbbells and pick them up and just pump it out. But also but if it says 20, pump out 4 sets of 5 until you get to 20. Like take a rest if you need to take a rest, but keep going. Yeah. Don't stop. And those are the things that we're trying to instill. Go to Mandy. Oh man, someone comes in the morning. I introduce them straight to this lady, Mandy, and I know she will make sure that they feel welcome. She'll stop her workout to make sure, and that's who she is. And like same thing tonight with this. Just linking people up so that they've got connections within the gym. It's not just it's just me. It's like, no, this is we. So make sure you guys walk around and talk to people, and they do that too. So that's really cool because it's no longer just me pushing people. It's a person pushing a whole bunch of other people. Yeah. So that lady who won, her support system, it was her sister that pays for it. She boxes, spars with her, does a boxing class with her every session, and another couple who are just awesome. They just bring in everyone that they bring in. They just come on, let's go. But kick that attitude to the door. Let's go. One of the ladies, so Pele, she was at Waitek. She might have been a little bit older, but she was at Waitek. Her and her husband, Alyssa, they're just awesome. It's like if you build that culture within that everyone's constantly trying to pick everyone up, then it makes your job easier. That I don't even have to be here. You already know what to do. So that's what we try to. That's and that's just built over years of trying to trial and error and all that sort of stuff. That's a big part of fitness. It's not just like, what do you look good on a screen? Take a picture of me doing this, take a video of me doing this. it's the mental side of things. It's how you create that, make that person feel. How you make that person feel. You've got to make sure that they feel good when they come in the door. So we try to build that, and not just coming from me, coming from everyone. It's all relationship stuff. It's not transaction. Oh, ding, you're in the door. Ding, you're $5. Cool. I've got 10 people. That's $10 each. It's $100 today. I've always said it. If you focus on the money, it won't work out. Focus on the people. And the money side will sort itself out. So it's all about relationships. Take that time to get to know people. Yeah, but I wouldn't. I don't like to take from other people directly. I like to, like you said, look at that side,
Yeah.
and then figure out what you like, and then mold it to what suits you.
One of the things I got from our last conversation last time you came on the podcast
Yeah.
was we had a big discussion on identity, and you're big on that. You're big on identity.
Yeah.
And just hearing your story about that, like the team thing,
Yeah.
the culture you've built in your gym, that's right there. That's the identity you're trying to, bring to your gym, and what everyone is in there will be a part of, which creates that.
Yeah. Well, we sort of being really consistent with things. Like a boxing class. Boxing class is boxing. So when you turn up, we're punching pads. It's that we're not doing any push-ups, we're not doing any burpees, we're not doing any runs. You're coming in and we're going to do combos, and we're going to hit the pads, and that's what everyone likes. They're like, oh, cool! I don't have to do a million burpees in between each thing or running. I'm coming for boxing because I like hitting the pads, and that's what they're going to get. So, and then the other class that we do, the start class, which is it stands for strength, toughness, and resiliency training. So it's hard, it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be tough. And, there's people like, oh, I'm not ready for it, man. I'm nervous. I don't want, and that's good because I want people to feel like that. I was like, but you can do it. I said, just go at your own pace, but turn up, do it, go at your own pace, lift lighter. I'll give you a different exercise than everyone else, and it's okay because everyone's saying it that way. And then when they do it, they feel like the sense of accomplishment, like, oh man, I just did that. That was really hard. Or I was really scared to do it. So that's what's that. Those are the things about their identity that you want to make sure that people know what that is. When I write my programs, people, hopefully people think it that they're well thought out. Or that they're original or innovative. Another guy come up and he goes, man, so and so showed me one of these workouts he did in it. Wow, it was amazing how it sort of went like this. I was like, he goes, can I use it? And I was like, yeah, of course you can use it. I've done it. That's why it's out there. People go, do you feel the thing if people use your work? No, I've chopped and changed these from other people's workouts as well. And made it fit what I wanted to do. Use it, it's out there.
That's awesome that you can do that, because sometimes ego can get in the way. Oh man, I'm pretty sure that's my training that they're doing. And you have to try and say to yourself, look, because to me that seems
a compliment.
Yeah, that's right. Because when someone copies something, it's complimenting you because it's flattering because they actually copying exactly what you're doing. But I mean, it's because you see a lot of people out there. When you see these training people and all that, and they're like, this is a set program, only I can do this kind of stuff, and you've got to follow me to do all these things. It's that shows how genuine you are about actually being that it is. Once you've done it, this is for everyone. You know.
Yeah. So and always trying to be innovative with them. 100 burpees. 100 burpees. Come on, man. You can do something different.
Yeah.
But we might do 100 burpees, but we might do it over the course of the time. Did you know that after that whole workout you just did 100 burpees? What? No, I didn't know, because you did one and then you did two there, and then all that added up to thing. I've actually got a really messed up way of how, or not. Well, maybe it's not messed up. Not messed up to me, but it might be messed up to other people. Of how I think about writing my programs. I always think like playing the drums, And so I always want the program to make a good beat when I do the drum. So for example, if I'm lifting like a heavy deadlift, right? Say we put a heavy deadlift, right? And if I go 100 heavy deadlifts and I make the deadlift sound, boom, boom, boom. If I just do 100, this is what it sounds like, boom, 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 boring after a while, you know. But if I do like 100, let's say I do 1 deadlift, 2 burpees, which is like a cardio exercise, which is dun dun, you know, and then I do 20 push-up, 20 squats, which is like a thing of like, so if I go and I do like, if I go boom, 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 you know, like, so when I'm going through the exercise, I'm always like, does this make a good beat? Dun. And I'm like, yeah, it does. It makes a good sound because it's sort of like there's repetition there, or it gets longer as it goes further. But if it's just like, you know, power exercise, dun 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 dun, or like maybe it's like, it doesn't sound good. Put something else in there. Yeah. So
You know, when you're writing these programs, is DJ 651 in the vicinity when you
sometimes, well, sometimes it's a bowl of beer and a whiskey and a cigar. And then there's some of the like, oh, what are you thinking of? I'm just thinking about some of the workouts that we're going to do. You might not like them. I'm getting pretty pissed. But yeah, I'd always think about that. And even like that sort of stuff. Like, you know, like I always like listening, you know, when you hear his stuff and you hear like, oh man, he put that in at the right time and it went, and it worked, you know. And I've always liked that stuff about music and how, you know, and so that's how I write my programs. Or that's how I figure out whether I like the way it's set out in the format. And, you know, the numbers have to work out right, you know. If I do 4 here, and that, all of a sudden, that adds up to 50 at the end. Oh, cool, that's nice, clean. And if it doesn't add up, it's like, oh, that's not clean. I don't know if I can change it. So, yeah, but, you know, like, I just think about it like that. So, but yeah, that's how I sort of write my programs. I'm always a big believer too about like mastering your craft, you know. And what's the thing? I think it's like the saying is like, to master something, you've got to do 10,000 hours or something like that, you know, like there's a saying. And so I've always said to people, master your craft. Your craft is, if you're a trainer, your craft is to write and prescribe exercise. Master it. Write it out. You know, do classes. If you've just done 1 to 10 classes and that's all you've done, you haven't mastered it yet, you know. You might know how to write a thing on the board, but you don't know the nuances of how to talk to people, you know, or how to get this little bit out of that person, know what to say, know when to push, know when to pull, all that relationship stuff that you learn, acquire over time, you know? Like,
yeah. I think it's one of Malcolm Gladwell's books, that 10,000 hour thing.
Is that one? Is?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I think I heard 10 years or something like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so, you know, I always think, and if you want to speed that up, you know, read books, you know, listen to programs, watch videos of how people do it. You know, you don't have to always be in the gym and do 10,000 classes, to master it. So I'm always real big on like mastering your craft. You know, like, hey, look, man, you're good, you're great, you're new trainer, and these are the things that help you master your craft. Yeah,
I was thinking about that just recently, the mastering your craft thing. So I was thinking about kids that quit school and start working, and then say a big one is going to be a builder, because a lot of them do apprenticeship and that. But then I feel like they don't see the end goal. That what should be the end goal is to own your own building business. They don't see it far. They don't see past that to that.
I think that maybe might have been the mentality like maybe 10 years ago. But I've noticed a lot of people now, there's a lot of Pacific Island based businesses, building businesses, and it just looks like take for example the brothers from Three Houses Down. They have a construction company. My friend Henry, his son is he got him a job. His son was working with another. His boss was a Samoan as well, and it looks like these guys they can see now, because the building mentality was, I think, for us Islanders or you know, Pacific Islanders, you know, you just go and you be a builder and you listen to the boss. You know, you're just there.
That's where it stops.
Yeah, and it stops there. But now you've seen these guys like, you know what, I can go out. You know, like Gus Toffa, like Gus.
Yeah.
You know, he's another guy that he came and done my garage. At that point, he was working for someone else, and now you see Gus, you know, Toffa Builders. You know, he's got his own business and all that. You know,
you were doing those things on the side. You know, on the weekends you'd have your little thing, and I think it was always a big step. You know, like it's like, oh, this is like, I've got to take this big step, and then I could be brave that it might not work, or you know, or if I put the time in, I know I've made the contacts. I know I'm confident in my quality, and I've got enough people that will vouch for who my, you know, like I'm done. Yeah, you know, like, hey man, my mate Gus did my garage. It was really good. Oh, you looking at someone? Dude, go see him. You know, like all that sort of stuff.
Just snowballs, eh?
Yeah, it snowballs. You know, when you've put that time into, to you know, like mastercraft type of thing, and I think you're right that I think they used to. I mean, back in our days, I think it was the same. It was like, you know, we were like, you're told, oh well, if you're not going to go to school, you're going to go work. You know,
just get a good job. And
get a good job. You know, but you know, a lot of those guys made really good hours doing their thing when they're being productive, when they weren't being productive at school, and then maybe at 30, 40 years old said, oh, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to go on my own. My brother did that with his fencing company. You know, he was sick of making his bosses all this money, you know, like he'd see it and he was like, man, I'm sick. I need to do this myself. And you know, he's like, I don't want to work with anyone else. And I like, you know, like, and like my brother's like, he's the man. Like he'll knock out a fence on his own, and like there'll be a team next to him with like 3 or 4 people, you know. And he's like, these guys think they can work, you know. Like, we ordered this fence for him. So he goes, oh, let's do this fence. Dad, my bros, and my nephew, let's go out and build this fence for Christmas, and then put the money in our house and our family account, and we'll buy like Wagyu steak and crayfish and stuff for Christmas. I'm like, sweet as. And then we were doing it, and then one of the things I was mindful to talk to my nephew about was, you see, this is what Frueans we're hard workers. See, look at your uncle, that guy can go, and look at your opa. He's 64 and he looks good and he will work as hard as anyone else. So these are the things we need to make sure that you understand, and these are the traits that, as a Fruean, these are the things that you need. You know, it's important that you work hard, and you don't just think that we're going to give it to you because he's been able to create these things and give it to you. And he did, you know, he got that sort of, again, he saw it, he experienced it, and he worked hard the whole day, you know. And he had a beer with us out there, you know, at the end of the day, and, you know, checked the $50, you know, the thing, just to say for my brother. But, you know, like, I think, yeah, like, we would do that, and then we would, like, wait till we're 35, 40, you know, maybe, and become our own boss, you know, because we were sick of thing, or maybe we'd, like, you know, got fired because we grew up in Ranui, and, you know, that temper flew up, and, you know, I lost my job because I just told the boss to F up and all this stuff. And you realize that you sort of need to do it. But I think kids today, they get taught, they get told to, you know, like, be your boss. Like, I think what they don't get told is to do that hard yard.
That's
in between.
right.
Yeah.
Because there's this kind of, that, like, sometimes you can go, oh man, look how.
Or maybe they're
there's
not
that
told
fast,
it.
that kind of fast money, and like,
Yeah.
oh man, look,
I think
he's
the
already
kids
got.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You gotta have passion
exactly.
for it, man. You gotta have passion.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah. So, like, I've had a couple of, you know, like 21-year-olds coming. Oh, yeah, what do I need to do to get the next pay bracket up? Or like, what do I need to study? You know, like, so I'll do something to get, because if I do this and I'll get that, like, it's transactional. I was like, well, actually, that's good. You still need to get that, but actually, I need to see that you are proficient at what you do. You need to see that if I put the pressure on you, if I get one of the kids out here and they're screaming their head off and, you know, in the middle of the road and smashing up walls, that you can keep your cool and you can deal with them, and that you've built enough of a relationship with that child that they'll listen to you because they trust you, and not that you've just, you know, blurted out some words to them. Oh, yeah, I tell them to be good all the time, and tell them to do this. That is actually sunk in, and you've done it. So, you know, like, yep, doing these papers and all that, that's good, but make sure that you do that relationship stuff too, because that's the filler,
Yeah.
Like it's like I've got the box, but it's not full yet because I haven't had the experience yet. I think that's really maybe they are getting told it, but I think a lot of times it needs to be. I think maybe it needs to be pushed a little bit more on how important that stuff is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like. I think that's the cool thing about our people now is that before, like maybe our parents would have been hesitant, but now they're like, nah, we can, if we put in the work, or there are, because there's so many more avenues, for our kupulanga, our younger generation, because there's money out there to be made, or there's avenues, like there's funding, there's like with the internet, there's more access to whatever you want to do, whether you want to go to training or, because I was just telling this guy, my nephew, he's launching his he's got a sock brand. It's called Holy Feet. Yeah, so he's and he read up his inspiration was he was sitting with a friend of his 4 years ago outside. He was working at McDonald's Mangere, and he thought, man, this I've got this vision of this business that I want to do. And all through the time, he's always said that. He's just moved back to Sydney to go stay with his parents. But while he was here, he keeps saying to us, he'll say to us, I've got this business I want to do, this sock business. But he was putting in the work. He was telling, or he's more like telling my younger brother, because they have that kind of relationship. I'm doing this, and my younger brother's like, hey, that's awesome,
talking to these people.
Yeah, that's right.
Making these connections.
Yeah. And I was like this, and I'm just sitting in the back like, oh, nice, I'm talking to the manufacturer. Look, I'm dealing with this person over here and all that. And I just showed him his Instagram page, and he had models on it. He's got the mission statement, or what the vision for his business is, and he's got the launch this Sunday at 12 o'clock. And he's 24, and he's already, he's got that kind of mentality, like, yeah, man, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go do it all the way. And I thought, and I was just thinking, because I wrote to him yesterday, I said, man, so proud of you, I'm so proud of you, Neff, and he's like, yeah, I love you too, miss you. But then I thought to myself, man, when I was 24, what was I doing? I wasn't thinking about any.
That was far from what I was thinking about.
Socks. I was trying to find a clean pair.
I had holy socks.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And I was like, mate, I wouldn't have had the guts to do something like that back then. Or follow a passion. But I don't think I would have known how to go about it anyway. And that's what I think, that there is because you see a lot of these businesses out there, and a lot of kids, a lot of youth coming out with these, like one of his friends had a shoe cleaning business. You take his old Jordans or something, and he'll do them up, and he'll show me photos. I was like, mate, back then I was just trying to get a pair of shoes, and look at how that mindset now isn't the old school. You've either got to be a lawyer, you've got to be a doctor, or something like that. No, you can actually go do it yourself. You just gotta be willing to put in the effort, the hard work.
I think it's a time too, because technology has really pushed these modern times now. So it's more about convenience now. People want to do the Uber Eats because they don't want to go. People want things delivered to them. And people want things fast. So things like cleaning your Jordans, no one's gonna clean your shoes.
Well, the other thing is though, back then, if you wore if you had Jordans, mate, you'd wear them out. I'm wearing them to church, or and these guys now, man, they're like, I don't
want to crease it.
That's right. They've got that thing, like I saw that thing where they put it in like that mold, and when you put your shoes away so you don't get the crease. And I was like, oh my, look at the game now, It's just how serious, how big business these kind of things are,
Yeah, and buying it and reselling and all that stuff, and a lot of them are really.
That buying and reselling comes back to convenience too.
Yeah,
because it's like if people just go on trade bench, get it, and come to your door.
My friend, Frank. So Frank, his son. What was that big store that opened up at
Sylvia Park.
Yeah, Sylvia Park. Was it
J-
JD Sports?
yeah.
Yeah. So him and his partner, they went and stayed. They went on that the night before, and they slept. They stayed there. Yeah.
For the $150 or something?
Yeah. And they bought about four or five shoes or something crazy like that. And then I go to Frank, so what's he going to do? And he goes, he's just going to resell it. And I went, and I was trying to think. So I said to him, I was like, so okay, why would he do that? He sacrificed his time.
Well, that's enterprise, bro.
That's what I mean.
That's
The entrepreneurship, yeah. And he goes, he just does it, and then he resells them. And I thought, because someone's like this, I'm not going to wait in line, and like we just said, Uber Eats, man.
I'll pay another
That's right.
$30 to just get it now.
I get paid well enough.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah, I can get paid enough. I don't care if the markup's 100%.
Yeah.
I'm still going to pay that money.
Yeah.
I would like to thank Frank's son for going to stand on that line. Thank you, sir.
we're paying for convenience.
That's right. Yeah. You're paying for someone else's, ability to see that there's a market out there for
I
it.
also try to think, have you worked out the hours that you put in? Like, if he was there for 8 hours sitting in line, how many? If you marked it up to $100, that's less than 20. That's less than minimum wage, man.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is, like, what else are you gonna do?
Unless he was sitting there doing some stuff,
That's right.
like he was selling it, but putting his thing.
Because a lot of people there, it's a community, that sneakerhead community. So they're like, oh man, what shoes are you? So you like, it's kind of like. Well, we went to Star Wars, The Force Awakens. So we went the 12 o'clock session as soon as it came out on that. And everyone there, there's some guys dressed up and all that. But you knew everyone was there because we were there because we were big Star Wars fans.
It was an age demographic too.
That's right. Yeah. So part of it was. And I think it might go for shoes as well. Like part of it was the older people, like the older crowd, like, yeah, man, I watched this when I was, 8 or 9 years old, and I'm bringing my kids here because I want to show them, the scope of what the Star Wars universe is, And I think that would be the same as, that's the thing about pop culture, you have little pockets or little groups there. Oh, well, sneakerheads, that's a huge community, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd always, like Jordans, right? You'd always remember the ones that you remembered first, Like I think it was threes for me. It was these threes are the ones I always remember. It's like, I always wanted a pair of threes, and I wanted it, I wanted that colorway, and I want, and then you would remember. I would remember the 11s and 12s because that's when we were playing basketball. The 11s and 12s was the years that I was like into basketball, and those were the years that came out. Yeah. So it's pretty. You're right. There's a lot there, right?
Well, the thing about sneakers now, like Jordans and all that, it's a currency, Like that shoe, and it's funny because back in the days, like we knew how good they were because they still, that shows how iconic or just how powerful that Jordan brand is. Because even back then, like when they came out with that new style, I think was it the Jordan 4s or the 5s when they had that kind of silver tongue, that fluorescent kind of thing. And back then you were like, hey, oh, man, what kind of style is this? But then, when you see Will Smith rocking them on Fresh Prince, I'm like, oh, man, of course, that's why they're mean. It's just it just shows how powerful they kind of.
What's the one with the black going around the edge?
Oh,
shiny.
Yeah,
that's the 11s.
11s. Oh,
yeah.
Mm.
I think they've got like a grey on grey now. Like that's the one that everyone's trying to get, the grey on grey.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It's like they were talking about Easter. I was like, what? Like grey on grey on the 11s? That doesn't sound like it would look cool, but okay.
Yeah, that's all. Because I have you watched that documentary on Netflix that I think it's The Power of Abstract or something, and it had what's his name? Tinker Hatfield, the guy who designed all the early Jordans, and then when you see his inspiration behind them, I'm like, oh, I see it. I could see where he would, where he came up with his ideas, and that's the beauty about these Jordans, that they didn't just sit there and like, oh, I'm gonna just draw a line, it took inspiration from different elements, like the Jordans, like the Spitfire, it's got that kind of that jagged look on it,
Yeah, and I think that's the, like to have that creative flair to what you do, like to make it personal and be creative to do that. That's you know, that's probably what like why he wanted to become a shoemaker. You know, like that. Yeah, it was Ting Hatfield, eh? Yeah. And I was always, and I thought about that too. Like, you know, like I was like, man, I couldn't do. Like I was like, I can't. I need to write my programs and I need to do them. I couldn't just like come in and go, what's on the board today from the thing for me to do. It's like, oh man, that would take away from my creative, you know, like the passion that you get from doing that and seeing if that works and seeing, oh, way too many reps, way too many reps on that one, or I thought that was going to be harder and they did it in like 20 minutes. Damn it, I need to add on more, and then mastering it to be able to like think on the fly and add something else and to correct, you know, to make it longer or, you know, or make it easier. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about writing an ebook?
An ebook,
Like a fitness ebook?
is it like the one that like an audio book? No. Oh no, it's just like a book, but on like writing it, like a text.
People just download it as
Yeah.
PDF.
Yeah.
Like I hear a lot of fitness people do like the short ebooks.
That guy, Yash,
He's
got
done.
one, eh?
Yeah, he's got one. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. English has never been my strong point. If you to ask my family that.
I was just thinking that because of your team thing.
Yeah.
The team that you had, each of those could be a chapter in your ebook, and you just explain and do the exercises. I don't know.
I've always thought like, oh man, I need to like write all this stuff down, or I need to like, you know, like I need to like put this into like a proper framework of how this works and why we do it this way. But I've never done it. Maybe if I had some help to write it, because yeah, like I said, English is not my strong suit.
I was just thinking about it because you know how we're talking about the new businesses coming out now, and you know the world's changing, and especially with the COVID, like lockdowns and all that, and everybody's on a different buzz. Like, how would the fitness industry change because of that? Because of the new environment we're living in, and that outside exercising, inside, and like how would you take advantage of what's going on in a good way?
I think the one thing that COVID did show with these lockdowns is teaching people to be like have that ability to adapt, or okay, I've got to, this isn't going to go this way. I've got to do this because
like I think you know, one way to adapt is obviously moving on to Zoom online sessions and being a lot more and realizing that your reach is not 20 k's from your house, you know, that you can reach someone in any part of the world through Zoom and do a workout with them, if you know. So I think that's way people get. I'm real like purist in terms of the relationship stuff, in terms of the face to face. Like you said here, like, oh, we're just face to face on this 135, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's cool, because I'm a face to face, eye to eye type of person. Yeah, you talk to me and I'll tell you exactly what you know. We'll talk it genuinely, and that's, you know, like, oh, would you do this? Would you? I was like, nah, I need people in person, and then hopefully, you know, help them to make a change, and then they make a change in their circles, and so on and so on. It just grows like that. But I think the ebook would be cool. Now you say it, I was like, yeah, probably I've got a lot of stuff scribbled down and written long, you know, that I'd probably be able to write something. But I'd ramble. I'd like, and then all of a sudden, man, I just missed like 8 words. I do it all the time. Like, you know, like my mind starts to move too fast for my work. Like, I'll like type things up, and then I'll send it. I was like, oh, I forgot a word there. Like, I was like, better put that word in. So I definitely need a checker.
Cause you always hear about like when I listen to audiobooks or read a book, and the people like they'll say in the intro like, oh, I didn't think I was going to be able to write a book, but you know, once I started put pen to paper, when I start typing, mate, it's like diarrhea. You know, just like, you know, they just can't stop. You know.
I do a PT with a guy in town. That's a really cool fella. But our PT sessions are like a podcast. Like we'll talk the whole way through and just discuss all these different things. I would always he was like, bro, we need to make this program, because we've been talking about, you know, what you would want to know as a kid, if you now could tell yourself as a teenager, what would you want to know? And like, man, I'd want to know this, I'd want to know that, I'd want to know, like, hey, it's okay if she doesn't, you know, it's not the end of the world, and you know, And we'd be talking about all these things, and we were like, nah, but the catch-22 is you're a teenager, and you probably won't want to listen to your older self telling you, and so you would have to work on how you delivered that message. So we always talk about that. Actually, and with that, like writing that ebook thing, it's something I'm starting to do with my youth work. And so, same thing with youth work. 10, 15 years being a youth worker, I've got a certain way that I feel, and I know exactly when I do something, why I do it, and because I can see little things there. And so what we're doing at the moment is writing that out, and so making like a manual on this is why we're doing it, and this is what you do. So like you said, like the team thing, like we've got that for the thing, and how to work with youth and kids, and especially kids at risk youth. One thing I was thinking about with the COVID thing is if it's mandated for our kids that they can't play sport, or can't go to different things if they're not vaccinated, I wonder where some of our, say our Big Island boy from Manurewa not vaccinated, so he can't play rugby anymore. And I wonder if he doesn't have that support system of his rugby team, that would be like getting him through and, helping him, have all those communication skills, and build all those sort of like things and know what it's like to be part of the team, then who picks him up? When he can't play rugby, where does that person go? One of my youth workers in Christchurch said, we've noticed that a lot of people have come back to the church youth groups because we're not mandating it in our groups, and everyone should have support. So, that's really cool. How are you doing it within the thing? We do it outside, and we catch up, and we have food, and we, that's really good. And I thought about it, I was like, well, what happens if they don't have a church? What happens to our kids that aren't connected to church? And I'm just thinking, man, there might be some, big rugby boys or something that are not vaccinated, can't play rugby, and then the gang scoop them up. Man, where do they go for that support?
I think someone really needs to bring this to light, because I didn't even think about that until now. Because you're right. Because as islanders or males, we find the best way to express. We find identity through how we perform in sports. So if you're the best, if you're a really good rugby player, that's where you get your confidence from, and and that's what puts that kind of pep in your step kind of thing. And if you don't like you said, if you don't have the support, and hopefully the communities know this, because like you said, that's a kid that's going to fall through the cracks.
Yeah. And then we're going to need to support him more and more.
That's why I think where writing comes in, because I posted up I followed a post from Jordan Peterson, because he said the post about writing helps you think.
Yeah.
Because as you're writing, you're thinking.
Yeah.
And if you don't like what you're writing, and you think of something, you can delete it and write it again, because you're constantly thinking about what you're trying to say, and you're putting it down on paper. Because of that, you're exercising your brain to think about it, to think about all the points you're going to make. So, if you've identified that problem with that big Samoan boy that can't play because he's not vaccinated, then if you write down a plan for that to solve, you can actually spend an hour a day, just think about the plan and write it. Have 3 drafts of it, until you get it right. You're thinking about the whole plan, and then at the end of it, you probably have it, and you can use that plan to solve that problem.
No, I 100% agree, because I was never a writer, and then throughout lockdown, I read some, I was like fucking pissed. I was pissed off, why are they doing this? Why are they just segregating us? I couldn't see it. I'm like, I know, but it's their choice, and like you said, if they just didn't have Brian Samaki, they maybe would be more accepting of this stuff. We're trying to change people's mindset. But I was pissed off, I was fucking pissed off. And so 2 things I learned: don't send anything that day, sleep on it, do it in the morning, and then that was one thing, and then I added in the writing thing. So I'd go to my notepad and not on the tablet, and I'd write this letter to Jacinda or whatever, and I was fucking long as of fucking listening, but rewriting it and trying to be really valid with my points, and really And like I'm always trying to think like, what's the greater good of our society? Like do things that are going to affect us for the greater good. And I think your vaccinations, that's the greater good of our society. This is like my place in time. I can influence the next generation. You know what I mean? Like I'm a product of what came before me, and I will be what came before the next people. And so my decisions will affect the flow on of the next people. So yeah, vaccinations, because people could die and all that sort of stuff. But I thought, man, what about this? Like, I thought about that segregation of people. Like, man, I think that's going to cause a even bigger issue. Over time. It's like and it doesn't sit right with me to exclude people. We can do it safely, or we can follow the rules, but don't just make it. You're not getting our stuff. So yeah, I wrote it all down. I was like writing it down. And then I was like, "You're gonna send it?" I'm like, no, I'm not gonna send it. I'm just gonna write it, and I think it's like that venting too. Like
and the thought process.
Thought process. Yeah.
Because I think people who say they love to write, they want to write, but they get caught up in it's not right the first time. Then they give up and they throw it away. But that's all part of the process. You're allowed. It's not like a great writer writes one draft and that's it. They go through 5, 6, different versions of because it's all thoughts. Their first thoughts of it is the first draft. Then they'll, I forgot about this thing. I'm thinking about it. Do another one, and then you get it better and better and better. And then the final thing is your final thoughts that it's got all your points.
Yeah, and I think the real good ones, you've got your thoughts, but then what's going on in your head, but then you're sharing it with what other people are thinking. So you go, read this, and he goes, oh, that's good, but I don't see that point, and and then you go, oh, yeah, actually, I can see how you think that. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, because especially if you do have someone read through it, and they say, oh, so what are you trying to say there? Then you can go, actually, I can refine that point now, because I can go, okay, this is actually what I was trying to get at. That's why it's always good to have someone.
And then getting that when you write it to be like, it's like this long, and you refined it to be like a sentence. Like it's there we go. That's it. It's polished now. Yeah. Because it always starts off with like two things. Yeah.
But it's so cool, that whole thing, the whole process. Yeah. I find, because when I write for the articles on our website, and I go through that process, and it's so cool, man. Like, just to think all the time, constantly think, oh no, that doesn't sound right. Do it again.
And that's what's real cool about all that sort of technology. You can like write it all out and leave it there and put copy and paste it and play around with it and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. No, I was I've been really enjoying writing the stuff that I do for the youth work, and because we would do the same. We would have like, so I thought about this. We were like, oh man, I need to put like this framework up, and I talked to one of my youth workers. She's like I think she's OG youth worker out these ways too. She probably like Rob would probably know her and stuff. Her name's Rowena Ayono, and her and this other lady Sala. So we were talking, and like they were like, oh, we need to figure out this models of practice, why you do what you do. And I was like, man, you're right. Like I've got all this stuff in my head, but we need to talk. So we all did this big thing, and we came up with this like it has to be like nice, neat, like little like figure that you sort of say this is what it is. And we just did all these like different models, and it was really funny. We could like pin them all down to like 4 things. We're going working with kids, and then whenever I talk to my youth workers, like, okay, what did you do here? And so like the 4 things were, so our 4 models of practice were when we're working with kids, strength-based approach. Like take a strengths-based approach. Don't come at them like negative stuff. Yeah. If you do that, they're going to shut down. If you come up to them with strengths, then they'll change it will help them change the narrative of them. Yeah, like you said, like, you made a mistake. It's all good. Like you just made a mistake. It's just the first draft. Like when they hear it, oh yeah, it is just the first draft. Like everything's going to be all right. Just try again. And I think there's a big thing with kids these days. You were talking about it too, guys, about that they will get that pressure. Like that pressure on them to be a doctor, be a lawyer, where they feel it now. They feel the pressure to be that person. And we sort of wanted to change that thing with their, don't put the pressure on them. Teach them to be, reward the effort, reward the effort. If we just only reward the outcomes, then when they don't get it, they feel really stink that they didn't achieve it. And then they give up, or they go around the other way. So we would always say, reward the effort. Reward the effort over the outcome, then usually we get a better result. And then, the first one, strengths-based approach. The next one was solutions-focused. Oh, we talked about that too, eh? Oh, man, this is like working out good, eh? So solutions-focused thing. And so, when shit goes wrong, everyone like catastrophizes it. Oh, she's going to fucking put us into level 3. And then we're all going, then we're going to. And it's like, well, that's not going to do anything to solve the problem. What's the solution? What do we need to do? What do I need to do to help you? Well, I don't know. So let's think about it. Let's write it down. Let's talk about it. And then you figure out a solution to it. Well, actually, I could just go and, just write it down, get my thoughts out, or, okay, well, I will just do classes outside and classes inside, and that can solve my problem of not being inclusive, of trying to be inclusive. And those are two. And then the third one was social learning. So I think a lot of the time, kids, they're quite introverted a lot, or like communicate with their friends via, games and stuff like that. And so you don't, we try to teach them that they need to be learning through being around other people. And like, man, I've seen them, these kids, man, they're like, oh, you're fucking useless bastard. And they're like, whoa, like, you're at the internet cafe with them, and then everyone's just yelling like this. And you're like, man, is that how you talk to people? And they're like, yeah. And it's like, well, like, when we were like that, your age, we didn't do that. If I talked to someone, punch me in the face, then you learn not to talk to them like that. But it also sort of like, like, how are you role modeling? Like, how are we learning? Like, how are they learning to be that's, around other people? One thing, do you guys ever did that, when you go to Samoa and you do the tour, the tour in the city, and they're not the tour, it's like of the village, they do like that, and they take you to guy does a tattoo, and they teach you how to carve, and they put the umu down,
I've seen a video of that.
yeah. And we last time we went there, the kids, I was like, kids, I should have a look at this. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like looking at it, and the guy said, Samoans learn by, he said, I can't speak Samoan, so I couldn't say, but he said, they learn by listening and hearing and seeing and, smelling. So they learn all this stuff. So you be around it so much that you just know what to do, And I was like, oh, that's true. Like, all of a sudden they're around it so much times, and you're showing them what to do, then all of a sudden they just know how to do it. Like, we want them to be more independent. And so, like, if they're around you when you're using your card to pay for the machine, they know, then all of a sudden when they take my card and go pay for your food, they know how to do it. So we talked about that, and social learning, like making sure that they're socially learning from other people, and what are you teaching them. And then the last one was empowerment. And if you empower our young people, then they're gonna feel valued and in control of their lives to be able to come up with the solution themselves. And they probably figure out most of the stuff themselves if you empower them. I think that's a lot of what we're trying to do today, is just empower these young kids. But yeah, I was writing all that down, and then, how do all these things apply to all the really tough situations that I was in? And man, I could tell some stories, man, about some of the kids in our situations.
You know how you said before, before empowerment was the learning, like the social learnings and stuff like that. And I was just thinking about the kids that usually come through the system that are damaged. The other side of social learning is the social learning, the habits that they get. When how they react to, like you were talking about, a catastrophe, or when they've really messed up. Sometimes the kid's first reaction is to hide or cower, because the learnt habit is when they made a mistake, either their mother or father's yelling at them straight away. So their first instinct is, oh, I've messed up, and then they start denying any, that's how the habit of lying starts. They go, no, I didn't do it, no, and then they, from there, they're on the back foot, when it comes to social like interaction in it, and you can see why. I think that sometimes when you see the way they talk to each other, it's because they haven't got another way of venting, so they have to vent out by saying, "Oh, F and kill," through the games and all that kind of stuff. And that's always there's always two sides to it, and that's the sad thing about the youth today, is that a lot of them are coming from those kind of situations.
Yeah. When you talk about the at-risk kids, youth, and you talk about the environment that they grew up in, it's a lot different than everyone thinks, and they build, that's their social learning, If I've got a problem, I'd be violent to fix it, And if I'm violent, they tend to leave me alone, and I'm all good. And I get, and even if it's like a defense mechanism, oh, you're fine. Like, oh, sweet, I didn't get in trouble because they thought I was crazier than I actually was, and I didn't think. And then like same thing, like make a mistake, and all of a sudden they're going to get hiding, or like one of the boys, he was at the gym with me. He got kicked out of school, and I said, oh well, you can hang out with me for the day. We're going to go to the park for a little bit. We're not going to go do any like games or stuff because you've been sent home from school. You can hang out with me at the gym. I'll buy a little. We can hang out here for free. Buy a colouring book, and we just sat and coloured and stuff. But he wanted to help me clean a little bit, and so I think it was like his way of making up for things, and like same thing. So he'd help me clean, and then he like moved something and it dropped it, bang, like something heavy, and he was just so fearful, like, and I was like, hey, everything's okay, man. Like, you're not going to get in trouble. You just dropped it. It was a mistake. But like how he just like, in my mind I've known that, over time you've sort of seen that they're just expecting a hiding. He's expecting, that's that fear, that trauma that's happened to these kids, and you have to have empathy for that. You have to have empathy to say, hey man, look, this is not what they've experience. This is not what their life is like. Like have that conversation with them. Find why they do that. Yeah. So that's really that's a big part of it.
That potentially like what you have here, like because they have, like, so I'm looking at it as a business, but not as a business. But I'm saying, do we have any? We need more programs like that, because you're coming from the from the ground level as well. You're on the field, because sometimes I see these handbooks on how you should, and they're from people that have just studied and all that. But you've got your experience, and you've got alternative ways of dealing with the kids for your fitness and for your training. Being with them, seeing what they're like, and also being a Pacific Islander, as well. You're able to know. Okay, I know this is how they would feel in this situation and that. Is there a handbook out there, or are there courses that people who wanna get into what youth work? Because I know my brother does it, but I've never heard him ever say, "No, we went to a course that done this," or "We've read this book," or "We've had Festa on someone come in and go, mate, this is how." Because my brother's in the same book as, same as you. Like, he deals with youth, so I kind of hear his stories, and then it's so similar to what you would have dealt with as well.
There used to be at Unitec in Henderson, there used to be a degree that you could do, and then they stopped that because I don't think they had the numbers coming through. What's really hard is that you can get a degree, and I think in Hamilton and Christchurch there might be some other courses, maybe not degrees, but like diplomas and stuff in youth work, or something similar. You can get a degree and stuff like that and want to become a youth worker, but there's very limited full-time positions, which is tough. There's a lot of casuals, which is really tough. But you can do that. There's also like every 2 years there's a conference, youth conference. I went down. It was in Wellington this year. Yeah, it was in Wellington, and they will there'll be presenters and talking and stuff like that. And but even that, that's okay. But you're right. There's a lot of stuff that's said that because I'm a doctor, and I want to tell you about how I work, and it's like, yeah, but I'm a youth worker, man. I'm on the ground, like that's. I love being in the trenches. Yeah, when they send me down to Christchurch to go work with a kid, and they give me the rap sheet on him, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to work with this kid. And then you go down there, and you're like, this is what it is. This is easy stuff. Yeah. But I think for that, it's probably there's a lot of guidelines as well. Like Arotaiohi is the youth, is the equivalent, like the registration of youth workers. You can become a registered youth worker, and you can do. There's like guidelines that they have, like the 9 core competencies of being a youth worker, and you have to sort of prove how you can, how you practice that in your work. But I wouldn't say. I think everything. You would go to I'd go to a conference for 2 days, and I'd maybe pick up one thing, that you'd use regularly. You go to a training for a day, and there might be one thing that you take from that training that you'd use regularly in your work. But you're right. I think if you put a lot more resources into that support system for young people, then maybe we wouldn't have as much higher youth suicide as we would. Maybe our youth justice, the children become more supported. But yeah, it's a mental game, eh? It's how do you, I don't just want to contain you, give you iPads and shoes and all that sort of stuff, and we got fish and chips every day for lunch or whatever it is with the kids, and that's how we spend our money. It's like, it's like, how do you need to teach them how to grow. Yeah, and so your job is for you to grow this person so that they don't need you anymore. Yeah, do a good job so that you do yourself out of a job. And if I do that, I've done a good job. Yeah. So I think that's for youth work. That's where there's a hold up there. I think there's a lot of really good places out there. Don't get me wrong, but I think if as a society, if we put a little bit more. Resources, that we'd be able to get I think we'd really be changing the curve, Yeah.
How much of the as for you as a youth worker, you talk about having a plan for the kids. How much of understanding the kids as well, compared to obstacles like technology, social media, and devices? Is that forever changing the
landscape
of how to treat these kids, or how to treat?
I think you have to understand it. You can't. We can have old school mentality. They shouldn't be on their devices, or shouldn't be playing games and all this stuff. Like, cool. What are you going to do instead then? If you take that away. What are you going to do instead? And actually, you can connect with them if you talk about games, if you talk to them. Like one of my youth workers over lockdown, instead of having a Zoom conversation with him, he'd log on to the PlayStation and play a game with this boy, Fortnite or something, for a couple of hours. And I'm like, they're just playing games. So yeah, he is, but he's actually talking to him as well. He's actually picking him up when he's down, and and they'll have conversations about something else while they're playing, and so it's still another way to connect, and that's just the way the world's going too, you have to learn how to use the technology. But I think over all of that, it's that relationship that you build with them. You have to build enough trust in this person so that they know that you're not all shit. Yeah, because they will. One thing our kids are good at, especially our at-risk kids, is they're good at measuring and eyeing you up straight from the get-go if you're all shit or not, if you're genuine or not. Yeah. And that's why that part of the relationships, it can't be transactional, It can't be, I tell you something, you listen to what I say and you take it on board. Yeah. It's got to be, I'll talk, you talk, and we'll communicate and talk about how we work this thing out together. Yeah.
All right, it doesn't, it just amazes me that, you're just saying now that, they don't have enough resources now, because, especially with the climate we're in now, especially with the influence of gangs and crime and the youth, and especially with the youth suicide as well. That's another thing that really that I'm fearful of, because I'm just, these guys, why are you so young and you're in that place where you're in, when the pressure is now upon you. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's always outside influences. You know, you've got your upbringing, and also you've got social media. You know, and that's probably another way. You know, because you know, bullying used to be someone just coming and standing over you now, but now you're getting bullied through forms of social media, Instagram, and people that are able to just talk to you. And like you said, you're not able to go and punch their faces because, you know, back in the days, man, if you're going to talk trash, you know, you're going to put up your dukes. But now you can hide behind it could be some other person that's on the other side of the world.
You slowly learn not to say something to someone, you know, like exactly. you learn that, eh?
Yeah.
Like, because the kids, you know, the kids and the younger one will punch the older one and, you know, tell the older one, hey, you know, instead of don't punch him back, let him punch you. Like, it's like, well, give him 3 warnings to stop, but if he doesn't stop, then like hit him back. But don't hit him harder than he hit you, or else I'll hit you. You know, like they're like, or else, you know, I'll make sure that, you know. So just think and make sure they can tell him to stop and give him 3 warnings. And I remember doing that with some, you know, and they stopped the younger kids. They stopped hitting the older ones, you know, because they learned that if I hit him, they're going to hit me back, you know. And I said, you just have to give him 3 warnings. Make sure you tell him clear. Don't stop. I don't like it. Yeah. And if you tell them 3, I don't, or I'll hit you back, you know. And then they quickly learn it. You know, like there's a lot of, you know, like we don't do that anymore. You know, it's not supposed to be like that, but there's a lot of natural consequences to those type of things. And I think, you know, like the whole thing around, you know, like we're not allowed to do certain things, or say certain things. It makes it doesn't help build that resiliency in people. Like, oh, you know, like you're not supposed to say someone that, you know, you can't say that someone's gay, you know. No, you're not supposed to say so. You're definitely not supposed to say it. But if someone is angry and they're going to use it, or someone doesn't know, people will use it to hurt you if that's what hurts. And so you have to teach them that people are not supposed to say it, but they might. And how are you going to take that? You know, why are you caring what he thinks anyway? Is he important to you? No, I don't give a hell. Well, why do you care what he says? Just ignore it. You know, and like you have to have like, you know, like those sort of things. Like instead of just saying, well, they can't say it to you. Well, what do I do because he said it and he's not supposed to say it? And, you know, like that's an example. But
I think there's a whole lot of examples.
There's a whole lot of examples.
We'll get into the political correctness thing, how they're trying to change the language around here. Yeah. Like, you know, you hear it on social media and everything. I heard one in the paper, they were talking about trying to change the word of pedophile. Because it's not fair to people who have pedophile thoughts but don't act on it.
Who are attracted to children. Now, there was a professor who said that the word pedophile villainizes or makes people, like you said, they have sexual thoughts about children, but they don't act upon them, so they shouldn't be vilified because they have those kind of thoughts. So you should maybe think about changing the word.
So now it's called.
Oh, really? They've changed the word.
They've changed it. So now it's called.
Oh, so actually they've come.
It was in the paper. It was in the Herald. Oh man, it was something like youth interest person or something. Youth interest person or interested youth interested person.
No. I think that's a windy word. I don't really want to go down that road because we could be on for another two hours.
The hell, man.
But I mean, it's just You can't normalize that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, I mean, all this stuff. It's just weird. It's just weird. Yeah, how sometimes, you know, like you get so far correct that it becomes incorrect. Yeah. Or that it becomes, you know, that you're sort of like I think, what do you call it? Joe Rogan, you know, when you watch her, and he has that really strong stance of how women fighters, transvestite fighters that were males that... Transgender, sorry.
No, it's just in case.
Apologies, we got to think because we might get cancelled. That, you know, that transgender... males that fight as females, identify as female but were male, they need to let a female know that they were fighting them because they've got all these physical advantages. and you're like, and then like then there's people. Well, they shouldn't because they're listening. Well, I sort of thought about it, and I was like, wait, he's sort of right because that's sort of starting to take away women's rights. If we were just doing it like that, everyone could just fight everyone. Then women would not stand a chance in a fight, like and you see if everyone just fought everyone, and it would go back to just male dominating sport, and they wouldn't have the space. And so maybe it has to change, but you sort of like, do we change it so much that it's a really that it takes away from women's rights? So it's really hard.
It's complicated because
It's complicated, yeah.
I think it's scary when these change of languages seep into our workplaces, the corporate world, and even the government. I remember my sister, 'cause she works for the government department. I think it's OSH or something like OSH.
Health and safety.
It's health and safety, something like that. And they've changed the word of homeless. They don't refer to homeless people as homeless or something like that. They're called unhoused. Because a home can be a home, like a cardboard box can be a home. Under a bridge can be a home. So how are they homeless if their home is under a bridge? So they're not homeless. So you say unhoused because obviously they don't have a house.
The thing is because language, it changes organically. It happens over time. Like, oos, that's whoever the first person. Hey, I'm gonna cut uso down to oos. And then everyone's what? And then it just happened because hey, oos, oos, oos. And so it went. And when it happened organically, hey, no one comes and mix it up and go, this is gonna be the word now.
When that happened?
It wouldn't even change the us because it used to be sole, right? Like
that's right.
Yeah, it has to be. It wasn't even uso.
Yeah.
Even that wasn't the word. But you know what? When us came out, I was waiting for someone in Samoa to say it. Because then they were like, they accept it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they could have turned around and like this. That's not a word. Or uso, and they go, oh, okay. Well, it looks like we're going to use it as slang. But no, uso is like, it's a word that we accept now. Like if they were going to do a Samoan dictionary.
Like let's go.
Yeah, like that. Or docs. Hey, docs. Hey. Docs is another word, We use it, You watch Sonny Bill when he interviews some of the Samoan usos on Fox Sport. Hey, us, man, And then like that word had happened, but no one didn't come like this. This is going to be the new word, everyone. Us. Okay, this is what you're gonna believe in, and we're gonna follow it. No, it happened because it happened organically. It went, and we all started using just like toko, just like docs, like that. That's how language works. Yeah,
And seki, that's a slang.
Seki's another one. Hey,
that's a slang.
Seki,
and that was from Samoa.
That's right.
And they had their own ones too.
Yeah. Well, Samoans are pretty good at making up slang, But that's what I mean. Like that's the out of it thing now. So
you're right. Like it's if it's developed naturally and it's accepted rather than pushed on to people.
And that's what I don't. That's the
like it does. It seems more genuine to use it, or to because it's sort of when it's used by the people naturally, it's been accepted. Yeah. And like that's a good point too about when I waited for someone to hear it in Samoa.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, okay, cool, it's been validated.
Yeah, it's been validated. Validated. Yeah. They're like, oh, okay, no, that's all good. And then you get the debate. No, it started over here. No.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean, and that's what I feel like, what I find hard to do. And I don't want to, because every situation, every person's different. But yeah, I just want it to be like, I just want it to evolve, or let's get to a point where we can all agree. Because you're right, we've seen what happens when you go too far right. Yeah, you end up with a funny moustache, and then you're trying to take over the rest of the world.
It's hard to sit in the middle right now, eh?
Yeah.
They want you to pick a side.
And that's what But
and that's what this language changing is for. It's forcing you to go into one side, because it's forcing you not to think about the difference between a pedophile, what a pedophile is.
Yeah.
Like they're both bad things.
Yeah.
But like I was just saying, we know what happens when you go far right, because there's an example. So that's why I don't like when they're trying to change history. Like, no, you should take that away. Well, you've got to learn from something, and if you take it away, you've got nothing to look back on. Then you're bound to repeat the same lessons again. And that's why we need to keep that stuff. You need to remember the bad stuff, just so that you know if you go to this way, and it looks like it's turning back into you're going full circle. Then you need to learn or know when to stop, and that's that's what I feel like we could be going in that direction.
And like everyone comes from like a place and time, right? So like 500 years ago, it was more accepted to do that. Like think about slavery and all that. Like it was more accepted. So you can't judge people on that time. Like it's like when you get judged by a tweet or whatever you put out. Like how they talk about that people get. Kevin Hart put a tweet out when he was 20 about this, and now we've started to and judge him. They judge him on whatever. It's like, man, you are different when you're 20 than when you're 30, and you're different from when you're 30 to when you're 40. Yeah. And if you're not different, then maybe you need to.
That's
change.
right.
Yeah, you need to evolve.
That's right, because that's the beauty of time. You know, right? Because that you're like when you're 20, you've only got this. You've only got this life experience. But if I was 40 and I'm still thinking about using the same language, or thinking, being ignorant as I was when I was 20.
Piss every day and spend all my money on
Yeah. Like you don't want to. If you haven't, then you've, then you never evolved, and even as a person. But like, if you're going to hold me back for something that I said, I thought, was funny back then. Man, honestly, everyone, I'm pretty sure 99% of the world would be cancelled if you were to be held accountable for something that you might have said. Now, if you still believe in that kind of stuff, that's where you're wrong. And then if you're going to tweet the same thing that you did or say the same thing, then unlucky yous.
Let's just say, for instance, like, okay, the society has phased out the word fat, right? It's sort of phased out. It's like a shame word, right? So as a personal trainer or any other personal trainer who maybe got tape recorded 10 years ago saying fat, then there'll probably be one for them to cancel you if they got hold of that tape wherever it was back in time,
Well, it depends on... But would also depend on the context you used it in, eh? If you're like this, come on guys, get in there. Like if you had a long recording, man, burn that fat, good on you. and then be like this, oh man, he's trying to motivate. But I feel like this, get up, you fat bastard. Like that, they'd be like this.
But
yo, Jordan, man.
But 20 years ago, that would have been accepted.
Yeah, like that was like
that was motivation.
Drill sergeant, trainers,
yeah.
But you still would, like no. There's no way you'd want a trainer like that.
I was in the city. I was doing a PT at like 7 a.m, and this person had their class or their crew running up this little hill, and I was like, I got there, and I was like, get the fuck up that fucking fucking piece. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was like looking around. I was like, man, that's an old school approach.
Yeah.
What's his name? The trainer guy, the black guy. America, the book you had?
Goggins.
Oh,
that guy's. Yeah.
See, that's what I mean. He's not everyone's cup of tea.
But he's also this is his life experience.
That's right.
He needs to get into the zone to be that guy.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, if they need to like dig into some in a alter ego.
That's right. Yeah. Because that's what it is. Yeah. Like sometimes people need to find, sometimes the being nice approach, works for most people, but sometimes you've got to have someone really get in there. Because some people, people respond differently to different approaches.
We were talking about that too the other day about, I was on my staff. He was like going, man, sometimes I know we're trying to be nice and stuff. Sometimes I just need to tell them, like, straight. I said, bro, if you've got a good relationship with them, you can tell them whatever you want. I said, there's sometimes I try to think it, and then I just go, hey, stop being a dick. And then they're like, I'm being a dick. Yeah, no, I'm being a dick. Yeah, don't cut it out. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
And then that's it. And you can say that because you've got a relationship. If you don't have that relationship with someone, you can't say that,
Yeah.
But bringing out that alter ego, like you mentioned, like that's your game face when you're on the field playing.
Yeah.
Like you gotta get into that mode that that beast mode, you know.
And
Or,
some people need to go to some dark places to get there.
yeah.
Well, it's, it's the Mamba mentality. He always
Yeah.
talks about, and he says, that coin when he crosses that line, when he steps onto that court, he's someone different, and that's, I think everyone has that in them. Some, it depends on what you need to wake up, or that's like, I'm pretty sure guys like Sonny Bill, like that's that laser focus, like they know, once you step on that field,
Yeah. I think like that Goggins stuff, like how that guy's a legend, eh? That guy's
I
legendary.
just laugh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like just stay hard.
Yeah.
He like it took him a long time to get there. You read the book.
Yeah,
He had his ups and
man.
downs, right?
That's right.
And if you try to like say to someone that's just starting that you've got to be like that,
Yeah.
they haven't read the ups and downs yet. Like they haven't got to that place where they can do that, and so you can't like treat everyone that way. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is like, when you said he's got the ups and downs, the thing about when you have to go to an alter ego or go into that kind of, you have to draw back on bad memories, or you've got to draw back on something. Like you said, like if you were a kid and you're like, Evan, this, remember when you? And I'm like, no, I don't remember when I was down, didn't have a job, and I was living,
$7 in my pocket.
That's right, And so you've got nothing to draw, so you can't really draw on anything except, unless you're going to bring out some psycho person that was always sitting in the back of their mind. But that's what I love about David Goggins is the people I reckon that relate mostly to him are people that have come back from the worst experiences.
Yeah. I think it's when you understand it, the depth of how tough that would have been, or how difficult a situation like that is, and you've experienced it, his book was pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty out.
Oh, bro, he's the story about his dad and his brother and the way his mum, all the problems he was having at school.
And there's also some stuff that you were like, he did some dumb things that made mistakes that you needed to learn from. Like, oh fuck, I just did the pull-up record and I failed because I didn't do this. I thought, fuck it, I didn't need to fix it. Then I got my little pads on.
Yeah. Oh man, you've got to listen to the
audiobook.
The audiobook. Honestly, I'll be like, it's funny because I'll start and like, no, because I always have to stop myself. Like, no, I'm not in the right mindset. I'm just, if I'm listening to it, it's just white noise. Or I'm just listening to it because I want to laugh. But what I should be listening to is like, is this what I need to kickstart? Or but when you listen to him, like, no wonder he's got that mentality. No wonder he's so tough because he's been through some rubbish, man, or some mud,
And I think, like we said before, you'll take one thing if you listen to that, that you'll use to try to change your situation. Yeah, like in the lockdown, like there was all these like how to get through lockdown, blah blah, all that sort of stuff. And then there were some times where I was like, I can't get out of bed. I just put my laptop on I stay in bed today and work. And I just sort of felt like getting this downward spiral. I wasn't going out to do my run or do anything. And then, there was that one thing in it. All these posts, come out what you need to do. There was this one thing that just said, make your bed in the morning, Get up and make your bed in the morning, set your day off right. And that's what I did. I just, got up and made my bed in the morning. And then I was like, cool. I made my bed, go get my breakfast, make my porridge, and then set up my laptop, and I was productive again. Just by that one, that one thing. I was like, that actually worked. So you sort of have to, you have to try it. You have to action it. Yeah, you got to action it. Which is,
I was just, how we joked before we started recording, how I said to you, I'll be coming to the gym soon. It's it's nearly January the 1st, and I was half joking, but because I always see people, but I do, I'm like, yep, okay. I've only got another 15 days or something of 2021. I'm going to hit 2022, hit the ground running. I'm going to start doing this and that. I always noticed, and I kind of get annoyed when someone says, they post up before, January the 1st. If you're going to be that guy that posts up, the new me, new you, you're just going to be the same and that. I was really, I get not like kind of discouraged because there's people who probably are like, okay, I am gonna, I'm definitely gonna try and make a change. And then when you see something like that, you go, oh, you know what? I don't want to put it up because these got, I think part of the reason why people say I'm going to do this is because they want to be held accountable. And then when you got someone say, "Oh, mate, you're just going to be that same person that says they're going to do that," you kind of hesitate, and then you end up just falling back into the same old.
Because those people that say that stuff want to make sure that they feel better. They feel better because I'm already doing it. I'm thinking you wouldn't do it. You're one of those type of people. Yeah, that's always. It's hard when it's like you're pushing people down just to make yourself feel better. Yeah. I think with that situation, I've always talked to people about just riding the wave. Like just embrace the chaos. You're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have good days. You're gonna fall down. You just have to, trust the process. Keep going. And it's going to be chaotic, You're going to have you're going to be on a 6-week challenge, and then all of a sudden, oh, that's right, my dad's birthday and my kid's like 5th and graduation, and all these sort of things. Oh, that's just going to happen, man. Just go there, do the best you can. If you enjoy it, enjoy it. Because if you stress, I think that stress is like a silent, like killer type of thing, Like, I think a lot of the people that get really, really sick and stuff are the people that stress a lot, And I think that probably takes a lot more of people's health than when they worry about things. Yeah. So just ride it, man. Just embrace it. That's all part of the journey, ups and downs, and as long as it's trying to track, the way you want it to go, it's all good. It's going to be okay.
I'm just saying on behalf of the other people they're going to post.
Yeah.
Those 2022. Yeah.
Oh no, I never do that.
But no, it is because it's funny because the last time you were here, it's just been it's been crazy. You know what I mean? It's like we were in 2 different times before you came back, and now it's just the times we're living in.
Well, we've always come out of a lockdown, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Always come out of lockdown.
Yeah,
Always come out of a lockdown.
yeah.
And man, I still want to travel, but I don't know when that's going to start again.
Nah.
I mean, I was just on the cusp of traveling, because that year, it was funny because that year I was the only one at work that never took any annual leave, but everyone else at work did. So they all went on their trips throughout the year, and I was like, "Now I'm going my trip next year. I'm going to do a long one." So I was going to do a long one, like a month, and that was last year when COVID happened.
Yeah.
So, oh man, sucks, man.
You sort of just, it's tough because you also see, you see America opening up, and they're getting 1,000 cases a day, and or whatever, and it's like, man, how are we all living with it? And we're like, well, if I go get it, I don't even know what's going to happen next week if they just shut it down again. It's just hard to plan for, and I think it's hard to live up to that like disappointment, because you get disappointed in those sort of things. So
that seems like more the worry than just COVID.
Yeah.
They're getting locked down.
Yeah.
Stuck in
They're getting locked down. Am I going to get stuck over there?
Yeah.
Am I going to be allowed back?
Yeah.
How do I get back? What do I do if I run out of money? I think Harry, when they opened it up, they got stuck in Aussie for a while.
Yeah, that's right.
For like a week or two.
Yeah.
It was a long time, and just that stress of having to always call up or something to try to rebook your flight because you missed your flight and you have to try to rebook it. They had that, and I was like, man, it's like, why don't they just you're waiting for the same flight and you're going to take the next one anyway? Why don't they just put you on one and give you a flight? That just seems more logical than you trying to always ring up and be on hold for 6 hours a day. And then even the other bro, Steve, who went over with him too. Oh, not with him, but at the same time. He said they got turned away from a flight because their COVID test was an hour over the 72-hour limit or something, And he had young kids with him, how do you, it's just him and his missus traveling with these 2 young kids, and they don't understand all these sort of things, and he's just stressing out because he can't. Yeah, it's man, there's all these added things you've got to worry about. It's really tough.
So I think because what I saw the announcement today, and she said something like, I think maybe is it mid-Jan, we'll be able to travel to Australia or come back from Australia and only be just self-isolate at home.
I
for 7
heard
days?
that. I heard that for is it the Cook Islands?
Oh, that's
You can do that currently, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you can do that now.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
Yeah.
until like January.
No, I think you can travel to Raro now. So Raro, they must be like yes, because they're for a country like that, so dependent on tourism, and I've been to Raro, and it's awesome over there. So, but you do see how much they do rely on the New Zealanders or the Australians or everyone coming over to.
Yeah, I think you can see how much that when you go back to the basics of life, how because they've all lived and they can go fish and they can eat and they can they can grow their own crops, how that sort of like brings it back to like these are the real essential things that we should be making sure we hold on to.
That's right.
Well, that's why places like Rarotonga and Samoa
Samoa.
are lucky, because
Yeah.
they don't have to worry about this COVID thing, but they can just live off the land still,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like normal anyway over there.
yeah,
Like I see my cousins over in Samoa, their stories, and they're just living like normal,
yeah.
Like,
Because someone shut it down. They pretty much shut it down.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I think you can only travel if you're gonna stay. I think if you can go to Samoa, if you have a Samoan passport as well. Yeah. So, but saying that, like when I used to go back, go back to Samoa, and then you see like where my mum's from, they're self-sufficient. Because there's food everywhere. You just gotta know where to get it, how to get it. And that's like if that happened here, I'd have to turn it to Joe Rogan and go get a bowl or something and start. You know what I mean? Like like that time when we had that big storm, right? And the power went out for a bit, and I was like, oh, I didn't have my civil defense emergency pack because I didn't have a radio.
I got no gas on the barbecue.
That's right, got no gas. That's right. And I'm like, oh. Mate, yeah, I think next time we'll make sure we have our torches and check the batteries that there are actually batteries in there. And I remember like that for that 2 days, and I was like, wait, if we're not prepared, if we didn't have canned food or anything like that, we'd be screwed. Especially as a society here in New Zealand, like you see all those guys, all those farmers, they're gonna be all right. But I think us so dependent on electricity and going to the supermarket and all that. You can see like if you're not prepared, you're going to be screwed. And then we thought, okay, what's going to teach us these essential skills is this lockdown, because we're going to have to depend on ourselves, be sure that our cupboards are stacked, stocked in it. And the first thing we go get is toilet paper, like. You would have thought, no, we're going to go and get vegetables and learn how to grow them. No, we just got to make sure we got enough. We got 24 rolls of toilet paper.
Enough 3-ply.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of funny. Like, it shows what kind of society we are, or like people like Samoans. They would have went, okay, we'll just go because we already live. There's times that we don't have power and the water's not working. We know how to adapt. And us, You'd think the last 2 lockdowns we would have thought, okay, let's equip ourselves.
well, I know Jordan, if he does need gas for his barbecue. You're still doing your
wood.
biscuits and your.
Oh man,
I haven't done one for
It's like
ages. I haven't
it's like
done it.
cooking.
My brother's been doing them. I've been jealous because I couldn't find the. I was like, how would I get the wood? I didn't have any wood. Yeah, so I just didn't do it. I just didn't have the time. But yeah, my brother's been doing it. I think he's been mastering it because he's got one of those little kettle Webbers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's been upping his game on that.
But you got the smoker.
I got the smoker. I got the offset. Yeah. So I think the last time I did some was the we had another challenge. We did sort of a team challenge, and then we ended it with like a night at the Henderson Bowls Club.
nice.
It was good. It was a good night, and then then I sort of smoked some ribs and a couple of salmons, just for it. It was, and they turned out nice. But yeah, sort of just like, oh yeah, that's right, I haven't had one for ages. And I think Alifa's getting into his barbecue too. We were at his house the other week on the weekend, and he put out his ribs and stuff. And, they were really good too. Yeah. But yeah, we're just waiting to see. Once I get some wood or something, I'll try to figure it out. Yeah, it's like just need some time, eh? It's like it's a big process.
Do you think we'll ever get to that stage? You know, when you watch the barbecue pit masters and all that, how they have those big shows where you've got like all these big, everyone with their smokers and their trucks.
We have those at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But
Obviously,
will we get to that stage where in America you've got, 40, 50 different people trying to...
maybe not that scale, because obviously we're not as big a country. But I think we've got that that culture, starting to get that culture. I think like a lot of these guys that pull out their rubs and their sauces and stuff like that. They're all those barbecue guys, and like they're starting to put out all that sort of stuff. So I know that they have it because of a couple of my PT clients. They've got their own little barbecue crew, Smoked Out West. And I was like, that's a good one. And they've been doing it. They've been going pretty hard out. And just talking to them, it's like, you get geeky with it, eh? All this little thing, the when to do it, the timing, the temperature, and when's the right time to put the trial and error that they go through.
Yeah.
So they've been going pretty good too.
It's one of those things, when you just do it once, you can get hooked, eh?
Yeah.
And I think it's that primal thing, with the fire.
Yeah.
And there's something like this guy, we go to his house for barbecue. He's got one of those small ones, but you just sit right around it, and it's just there on the ground, and it's charcoal, and it's we're all talking, having a beer, and just we're cooking a barbecue. But it's that. It's a different dynamic, eh? It's not like you're on the side there with two mates and all our friends are on this side,
right,
and the barbecue guy's over there by himself doing the barbecue, flipping the gas barbecue. It's not like that. It's not. It's not that anymore.
It's I think because it takes you all day to do it. You can have a beer and you can talk about it, and you can put in the shifts. You look after it now. When my brother got the Weber, and you can do the snake thing with the thing, and just leave it, and you're like, but is that as much skill as having to actually put the wood on every 15 minutes or whatever?
Yeah.
You're trying to take that hard road, just ingrained in you to take that hard road. Like this, it probably tastes better because of all the smoke. But then you're like, actually, it'd be nice to go to sleep and just leave it there. So so I haven't done too much recently just because of that, having that wood. And then you just think, oh man, I should put a little post out to has anyone got any fruit wood or whatever it is? Yeah. What do you guys do? What one do you guys do? Do you do the charcoal briquettes?
Well, I've just got a Weber, and me and Eric did a brisket last Christmas. It took like 14 hours. But he had the butcher paper, so we wrapped it up at one of the marks there, and then it came out nice, man. It came out.
And it's good too because it's like this good feeling, because not many people have experienced good barbecue like that, with real, like you said, but not good. And so when they oh man, this, because it's different, oh man, this is so good. You can taste the wood, you can taste the smoke, you can taste the fat and the meat, and it's pulling apart. When it turns out perfect. They're you've fed the family and they've all felt, It's a really good feeling. I think that's why people do it too, because everyone's you get to have that sort of, it's a bit of a, when you're the barbecue master, Yeah. I think that's probably why people do it too.
And I think people will appreciate the effort that you've gone through, because it's partly it's like a science as well, because you've got to get everything right.
Temperature,
temperature. Oh, is it too long? I don't want to get it.
But the rest and all that stuff.
Yeah, the rest.
There was an actual food truck in Palomino Drive.
Oh yeah.
A while ago, about 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, they used to park up at the school.
At the school, yeah. Every Thursday, I think.
Mm.
And they sometimes park there at Te Atu too. Te Atu,
yeah.
Te Atu Pen next to the liquor store there. But those guys were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like like just like like you only like your family's chop suey type of thing. Yeah. It's sort of like you can taste like well, like it's not as tangy for me, or it's not as like my sauce it doesn't have as much hit. It's too tomatoey. The flavor profile that you like.
People get tribal when it comes to stuff like that. Because like it's funny because a friend of mine, one of the boys from work, he brought in some raw fish, and he's from Fiji, and so his one had a bit of kick in it. And my other mate that works with us, he rates his raw fish as well, and like he tasted it, goes, it's nice, but I think might need a bit more, and then, we laughed because me and the boys, here he comes,
goes,
it's Mr. Raw Fish, because we rate his raw fish as well, but it's always that first kind of thing, like it's all right, like you said, when it comes to chop suey and that, I think my mum's chop suey is the best, was the best. And then someone else, nah, man, my mum puts she puts mixed veggies and all that makes the difference. I'm like, okay,
Don't show me no chop suey.
Yeah, that's right. No, man, I didn't see that in the manual there, but
My mum's she's so particular with it. She'll tell you like when to put things in and what the type of soy sauce that you use. So when they've had it, I'm like, it's like, make sure you get the soy sauce with the red lid or whatever. Has to be that one. And actually, now there's some new shit that she's put out. Something else that she puts in there now that she's same thing, tasted and acquired. What do you put in your chop suey? And then she's added it to hers. No, she's a really good cook. That's one thing I contemplated have a lockdown. And I was like, man, what happens if this goes on forever and I start losing more members? Because the longer it went on, obviously the more people are like, oh man, sorry, I just need to take a break and stuff. And I was like, what happens if it goes on forever and I have to lose all these members? I'm like, man, I might start doing those like meals and stuff. Mum, you reckon you could help cook? I was like, oh, nah, don't do it.
When it comes to the diet part, like when you at your gym and that, do you push them like a certain way? Do you say like, no, that you have to, like, is that a big part of it, or was yours mostly just doing the doing the training and all that? How much of a push do you do towards the nutrition side?
Nah, you should leave that for nutritionists.
Yeah.
So we that's their job. We do that. We do the exercise stuff. We make sure that's the thing. We just try to tell them to be healthy, and just talk through people's experiences and what works for them, and also, like what can you maintain long term, So like we just had the challenge, and a lot of people had some drinks and then in between, and they had some but generally they were pretty good and they lost heaps of weight, so they did what they did most of the time. It was good. So it just says sort of what works for them and makes them feel good. Like someone walked in, I was like, man, you should probably have a drink. Or you should, like someone said, oh man, I started to plateau. And then, you sort of talk, one of the guys would talk about his sister saying, well, actually you do need carbs in your diet. You can't just cut them all out because it actually needs it to, whatever that she was saying. Bodybuilders too, because she was a bodybuilder. Bodybuilders are geeky with that stuff too. Yeah. Like they know, like it's a science to them, and they all these different triglycerin and this level, and at this time, put I was like, yeah, that's at that level. They get really geeky with it. But no, we just sort of like, he just said that, and I was, oh no, and actually what I did is I started to steam a kumara and eat that before I went for a run, and actually it got me over that thing, and it's, actually I've heard that you can't starve your body, because your body will start to hold on to stuff because like, you're not feeding me, so I'm going to hold on to everything for survival. So there was always just things like that people would talk, but we never like advise anything to do. Just say, just be healthy, just do what works for you. If you feel like shit, it's probably not good.
This plateau thing, I know what it is, I just don't understand it. And how do you recognize when you're there? Obviously it's not you don't feel anything over a few weeks, is it?
Yeah, I think people will like start to see that they like if they're trying to lose weight,
Yeah.
like say they're trying to lose weight, they'll just start to flatline a little bit,
Yeah.
and usually it's just their body's adapted to the output that they've put themselves under, and so they need to change things up to keep their body guessing and take that next level.
Is it changing the intensity or changing the whole exercise?
Sometimes it's changing the intensity, sometimes it's changing the exercise. There'll be similar things to when people plateau, like with their strength. I just can't get over 120 kg bench. I can do it 120s, I just can't get to 125, or whatever it is. There might be some of those things that they need to change on their routine to help get them over the hump. Like they're just doing the same thing over and over again. I'm getting in there, I'm doing 3 sets, 8, 6, 2, 4, 2, 1, and then I'll just keep on going 1. They're not doing other stuff to complement it or put the muscle under more fatigue, so that they can do to help increase their strength in certain lifts. Yeah.
Is diet a part of it too? Or?
Yeah, I think so. Like what you feel your body, is really important. Like people like, oh man, I felt it this weekend in training. Because I ate like shit this weekend. I felt it today. So if you've got bad fuel in there, it's you're gonna feel sluggish. So, I mean, a lot of people, like it's just whatever. Like athletes can, like Marshall Lynch, right? Like it was the Skittles. He can do that because he needs that hit, and he burns it off straight away. But yeah, I think most of that sort of stuff you just sort of leave to nutritionists to try to sort out because everyone's different. Yeah.
So is the plateau, is it inevitable for anyone on any level for fitness?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I wouldn't say, and you would think so, that it would be inevitable that if you did the same thing over and over again, you'd just be like you get the same results as you'd always got. So like if I was always lifting 40 kgs and I'm just lifting 40 kgs, I'm not going to get any stronger. I got to pick up those 45s to get stronger. So yeah, I think you would, but because you get all those, but you would maintain. You'd still maintain whatever you're trying to maintain as well. So some of them are just doing it for maintenance as well, where they want to plateau. I want to stay where I'm at. I'm good. Yeah, I don't need to get any smaller. This is my good walking around weight. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
yeah.
Doesn't have to be a negative.
Nah. Yeah. So something some people like. Like I'm good. Like some people come to the gym so they can eat like what they want to eat. I'm good. But come to the gym every day because on the weekend I like to eat my bread and my this and that and yeah. So it's just a lifestyle for them, and we try to change that thing to like at the end of the challenge it was like, man, that's so awesome that you've lost 20 kgs, but you're right, the challenge starts on Monday. Can you carry it on? Yeah, carry it on. And so everyone had that mindset as well. That doesn't stop. Challenge starts on Monday. Yeah. Get back in the gym and keep going. Yeah. So that was those are those sort of like those mindset things that we try. You try to change in people. Yeah, that it's okay. It's okay to go to Sunday and eat whatever you want. Yeah. You put some money in the bank already to spend there. You put 5 days when you're working.
Man, those are just inspirational. Like that story with Alifa and all those guys.
Yeah.
Those challenges really do.
Yeah, and it was just like there was a funk. Like same thing. They were in like this. A lot of people were in this like lockdown funk, so we named it like Summer Shred Fight Back. We're fighting back against lockdown.
Yeah.
And they did awesome. There was 5 of them that lost 20 kgs plus. And yeah, they just the whole crew did awesome. They jumped on. Yeah, in 6 weeks. And I think it's not. And not everyone, like a lot of times you do challenges and you dehydrate and you don't starve yourself. A lot of them didn't do that. Obviously the last day they didn't try to eat as much on the last day, and they did a big workout to sweat out all the whatever they did, and then but a lot of them didn't take that route to lose the weight. Yeah, they just, I'm just working out hard and do 2 days and 3 days and I run to the gym, like they were running to the gym, like Leaf was running to the trainings, did 2, and then he'd run home sometimes, post up his little, post up his food, egg and protein shake. Yeah, no, he did really good. They all did. And Alifa came, I think he lost 24. I think he might have come 4th. Yeah, I think he came 4th in the guys because we did it on body weight percentage, so that was sort of even for the smaller people. So the guy who won it lost a little bit less, but he weighed a lot less, so his percentage was a lot higher. I think he lost nearly 20% of his body weight. Yeah. So that was he put on his me. He did really, really good. Genuine dude too. Like couldn't happen to some nicer guys that won it too. Good. Yeah. Like he's just genuine as really good guy. And he won it. Really, everyone was really happy for him. And same with the female, Gus. She won it, and she couldn't have happened to a better person. It was really good that she won. Really inspirational for other people around as well. So
what I'm thinking? 6 weeks leaves us a lot of time for those weddings we got to go to.
Yeah. I know. We've got our mate's wedding in April. Yeah. So I might have to put up one of those posts on December the 31st.
And not read any comments.
That's right.
Or not read any other posts.
Can I disable the comments? So I don't, no, actually, if I was to do that, I'd use that as inspiration. Because you'd be like this. All right, okay, we'll see. But then, like in the 2 weeks later, like, ooh, I really went out on a limb with that. With that post, Yeah.
Yeah, I think we put it out there about 3 weeks. Say, hey, look, this is when everyone starts. This is the tough time now.
Yeah.
Stick with it. Like even if nothing's changing, stick with it.
Man, work. You've got your work functions, your Christmas parties.
Yeah.
So what are you guys planning for Westside Christmas party?
No, we don't plan anything. No? Yeah, because you don't know what's happening. Yeah. And it's really hard because you could have something inside for 100 people, that's all good, but then you can't. That people who aren't vaccinated, they can't enjoy, and that's we don't want to exclude anyone, So I didn't plan anything really. I don't know. I think it's just too busy to go get in anything anyway. I'm not that type of person as well. Like to just celebrate stuff. Like it's like maybe we should get away from the just drink and put it all back on culture. I didn't even celebrate our first. I was like just put the post out. Oh man, it's been great. The doors have been open for a year. No celebration. This is not where because the job's not done. We've opened. We're there. But we're not where we need to be. But yeah,
I was going to say that. So Westside Fitness. What's the 2022? What's the goals? What is there? What's the vision for this for next year's?
I think the vision is just to hopefully stay open for without a lockdown, because we sort of keep on gaining momentum and then it just sort of brings it back and it sort of just sticks us. So I've got membership goals that I want to try to hit, to just sort of like bring it up to that next level, but it's just doing the same thing that we've always done, and like really cementing our community and really cementing that vibe that we're trying to, that not just me, like the members, that they like this is our community, and really solidifying that we're part of the Westside Fitness community, and what that means, and to people to feel that they belong, and making sure that people feel like they belong. So that's more of it for me. Like I said, if I do that, then everything else should fall into place. Yeah, I'll be able to get those extra bits of equipment that you might want, or looking at bigger space or whatever it is. But I think it's always been about the community. I've always been that I've always been that Westside heart, bro. So support local, support West, support poly if I can. Like support Polynesian all the time. So every sort of thing I do, I always just support that. But I think it's just about building that community, like building a really. I've always wanted to be self-sustaining, So it's not me it's not me having to pick you up all the time. It's the community. It's the people in there that are constantly picking each other up. And if we can do that, then you reach more people. Yeah, it's easier because it's actually a culture thing that we're actually picking. This is what we do. This is how it's done. And I think if we look at that, if we take that as our first, that's our vision. That's our vision. Then everything else should fall into place. And other opportunities open up. Yeah.
That sounds like an ebook. if I ever heard an ebook,
Right,
man.
I don't know, how long does the ebook have to be?
Well,
Okay,
that's
it's as long as you want it.
oh man, that's the thing though. Like all that stuff, you just got all that just sitting in there, man. I reckon once you get that first book out of the way, I'm gonna see 20 books in there, and I'm gonna go, yeah, man, I was there when you.
It might be that you might start typing next minute. 3 hours later, I'm still typing.
yeah.
I should go to bed. Now that's. Yeah, I've always liked reading, I've always liked knowledge, and like listening to podcasts, all that sort of stuff, audiobooks. Yeah, man, that'd be a bit of a task to try to think about how do you process that? How do you like you said, gotta get that first draft in. And yeah, I'd have to come over and go, hey guys, read this. What do you think?
Oh, I'm more than welcome to read your stuff, man.
No, man, that's we needed to, like, when you said before, like, you're a face-to-face kind of person, I feel, and that's what, like, I said to this, like, we always said, all the other Empty Out the Clip and, all these other ones, because it's more of it's a discussion, we've got topics that we're bringing to the table. The one thing that we love about the Back of the 135 is that it's a hangout. We're just hanging out, and we haven't seen you in a bit, you haven't heard from us, or we haven't caught up, and we just want to know where you're at, and we let you know what we've been up to, and that's why we said we'll never do those over the video call for the Back of the 135s, because it's just not. I just feel it's always better when we're just with our friends or with our guests, because we get the real reactions, and there's always the energy there. That's what I love about it.
And you can have a conversation. I find with the video interviews, it's an interview because you have to say something and shut up, and they have to say something, and not everyone has to be quiet. And then when they're finished, someone else talks. But it's that you can't really. So you can't have a conversation like we're having online.
Yeah, because for some reason when you're online, you tend to both speak at the same time more often, eh? Like when you're doing those Zoom calls, you're like, oh, you go, no, you go, and then, but here you sort of, you can sort of start to read, when you're face to face with someone, you can read the little nuances of things, when they sort of you sound quite down, or you're like, oh, cool, I'll try to jump in here.
Exactly.
So it's cool about that. That conversation. I've always said, like, I was always talking to some of my mates, like let's just have a conversation about something, doesn't it? Like, let's talk, I don't get pissed and get pissed to get pissed. Like, let's go out and drink and just have a good conversation. I'm like, oh man, that guy's really cool. Did you know what he does? When you actually talk to someone, like that guy runs like this, this whole thing, and they're like, what, really? It's like, yeah, like, hey, we just talked to him, the new girl in the class, she's a physio. All those old people, we should probably get to know her a little bit more. She said, hey, so what's my shoulder?
That's the cool thing about like with your gym, and like when you have these challenges and places like that, especially for men as well, like you meet up with like-minded men as well, or men that are on the same journey as you. So you start forming relationships, and then you can like start that network, or you start talking to like be a support person. I noticed that with I was with a friend of two friends of mine, Pat and Hens, and we started this challenge together. But we went, Henry was saying that they had these classes on Sundays at Fit Bodies, and it was just all the men, and they all went and done a good, either a really hard walk or a bit of training, and then after, they go, okay, we'll go back to the car. We'll meet over here in 10 minutes, and we'll meet back here. And then everyone got their coolers, and they would come back, they sit down and had a few, not drinking to get horsed, but just sat down and just, everyone would sit around and say where they're at, they'd have a beer or two, and, and that's the beauty of when you start things like that, you form these friendships and bonds, and you have a place of being able to talk with, with men as well.
Because I think that's important too for guys to have a support network of other men that you talk to, and that you can talk about anything with. Yeah. That you can have those thoughts that you're comfortable sharing with people, and you're obviously going to be judged. You're going to get the mocking if you say something stupid, but it's still going to be safe to be able to go for them to say something, no, that's stupid, but then they don't hold it against you, or anything like that. And I think that's what's important about those sort of communities, about that sort of stuff as well. We have sometimes we have this. We have a little running joke about this impromptu Friday night class, the secret class that it's on black on the timetable. It's that after one where there's the pre-workout drinks in the fridge, and then there's the other drinks in the fridge. That sometimes we just sit there and have a couple of beers after on a Friday night, and just have a chat and just just talk shit, and you're there for an hour and so until someone's missus says, "Where the hell are you? Pick up dinner."
That's us.
That's us boys. We're done.
Because what Henry said he did notice about it, and I'm sure Henry won't mind me sharing, is that when he looked around, it was men from all different walks of life. There's the Balangi man, there's a middle-aged man, and there's, they've all got businesses, but they were able to share, like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, and oh yeah, man, I'm having a bit of that, and it was just really good, because I think it also teaches you to learn how to be in these kind of situations with different people, because us as when we're growing up, it's just us and the boys, man, So like you were saying, like social, like dynamics and that, you're so used to, like you were saying, all the kids swearing and all that, because that's what they've been brought up in, and then when you're put in a situation like that, you're like, okay, this is my way of learning how to interact, or
hey, that's hey, this guy's in his 50s. You don't swear around him. This is where we don't swear around him. You speak properly. You talk to him. Yeah. He's a Makai or something like that.
Until he swears and you go, oh, well,
he's one where you need to be respectful towards that.
Yeah,
and then they learn that sort of stuff, instead of going off. I think we were doing the and so we would do that as well, and it is true, I think, to have those good connections and things for guys to have a talk about stuff, because it is like a bit of a well, poor you've always had it good, because you're this privilege that you have as males. Sometimes it's easy for us, or that stigma to be tough, or to not share your feelings. But I think you can still be tough and strong and share your feelings, and I think it is okay for us to be strong for people, but we need to have somewhere where we can offload. A lot of talk, there's a lot of talk around like toxic masculinity, like how it's bad. And I was like, well, it's still it's good that like there's a man can be a man, like that's all we can be. I can drink a beer and eat steak, and like watch sports. Like there's nothing bad about that. Yeah, but I can still be strong, and I can still be respectful, and I can still be understanding towards all these other things. It doesn't stop me from being understanding and accepting of other thought processes. It's just what you're used to this man looking like and what they're doing. But I think it's really important that those men have those outlets, or else they have those other thoughts that we're talking about. Or they don't, no one checks them and go, "You're being a dick, man." Don't have those thoughts. Because I think you can get sort of caught up in your own head, right? You can you spiral out. I think it's the lockdown stuff. If you weren't talking to anyone, you could spiral out in your own thoughts on where this was going. So you needed to have that someone to tell you, "Oh, well, have you thought about this? Have you done that?" Yeah.
And I think as males, we need to really encourage that, Like we need to encourage the being able to be vulnerable and say, "Look, I'm having issues, or there's something I want to," and I just hope we can get over that. And
that stuff can be like role modeled, and like that social learning that you do that. A lot of the times with our kids, they'll look up to you, because they think you can do no wrong. But if you can be vulnerable for them and say, "Man, I remember when I was your age and I felt like that." Yeah, you're going to feel like that for a little bit, and it's okay, because everything will work itself out. Just needs time. I know you think she was she was like your world and all that.
Yeah.
Plenty of fish in the sea. You might not realize it now, but you will realize it later. But when they can see that someone else, that you've felt that way, and you've been able to let yourself be vulnerable, then it's a lot more powerful to relate to. Well, actually, he did. Well, maybe he does, because he did talk about the same things I'm feeling about. He did explain to. He did talk to me about all the things that I'm talking about. So you're right. Yeah, that vulnerability is a really important trait. I think we should. It doesn't mean we have to be, like weak and all this stuff, and exactly. Sulking. It's not sulking. It's just like
that toxic masculinity. That's another word invented by the same people we talked about before. But see, that word even goes against what we learned. If you think about it, it goes back to the Bible, right? How the man, he works the land, provides for the family, and the woman cares for the child, because it's the mother of the child, but that kind of thing. But the deep story of that is our role as fathers, as men, provide for our families, and that. I mean, that's not toxic.
It's not, yeah. Or like provide, protect, Like,
and if they're talking about toxic masculinity being overpowering women, then it's like the woman chooses who the man is, right? Because they choose according to who they think will protect their kids, their future kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another primal thing, right?
There's a primal instinct there
through humans, through history, and it's in the Bible. I mean, if those stories come through.
Yeah, I think there's all those sort of things, like those primal needs that we still have these days, like what's attractive, have you ever watched that program Explained on Netflix? Man,
I've seen some of them.
Some of them are pretty good, eh?
You know what's good about that program? It's nice and short, eh?
Nice and short, quick, yeah. And to the point, and they use heaps of good things, but I like some of them, I think the one was they just talked about fairy tales once, and I was like, oh, that's like how they tell the story, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, because they're just telling the same story, it's just retold in a different way. But they'd explain some of those things, that are primal in us, like around money or around, protection and all that stuff, or like what attracts you to the opposite sex, So there are those sort of things that are hardwired into people,
Just like how we suddenly love charcoal barbecues.
Charcoal barbecues, yeah. There's something about it, when you're cooking on fire. It makes you feel like a man, because you're in control of this fire. Yeah, I think that's probably you sort of said before about like sometimes women choose that, that sort of thing. I think that's the sort of key, that people get to choose. Like if you have a choice, you feel in control, and when you feel in control of yourself, you feel good, because I'm in control here. And that's the whole thing about empowering. When I talk about empowering young people, it's because they feel that they've got a choice, and they feel in control, and then they feel that they can contribute. So, yeah, I think that's probably the big thing about those sort of things. People should have a choice.
And I think that's in the times that we are living in now, they do have choices now. And I guess it's being able to still say you have a choice, but don't try and tell us you have a choice, but these are your choices.
Yeah.
These are the only choices you should be taking.
Or put things in place that steer your choice. When you don't feel in control, you need to fight back on stuff. So if these people just felt in control of their lives, then they would probably be more. You'd probably be able to have conversations with people. Yeah.
See, it kind of links. If you're in control of your health, then you're in control of your life as well, because it takes a certain kind of discipline, or you choose to do to do that. I think we've touched nearly every range of topic. So it's funny because people be like, how can we put down this this episode? Like, what can we just find a subject matter on this episode? No, we done everything.
No, the title of this episode is always the guest's name.
Yeah.
I thought, you're right, because a lot of the other ones they've got the title. Yeah. I was thinking about that too. I was like, man, I better make sure I don't say the same thing again.
Oh no, man! That's the thing about every time we've had a guest come back, like it's always been, because I was saying to Sylvia's son when he came through, I said to him, he goes, "Oh, who you got on?" I was like, "We got Jordan again," and he goes, "Oh, has he been on before?" And I said, "Yeah," but I said to him, and it's gonna be so much better because the first time, because we only met, so we were just talking. Oh, okay, this is where you stand. Oh man, we share so much similar views and all that. Or that's really inspirational. The second time they come, we've already done that stuff. Now we just want to. It's a catch up now, and where are you at? And that's what we love about returning guests. Hey, because you've already.
I enjoy those returning guests.
Yeah.
When they come second time.
Yeah,
you're right. You already got rid of the origins and all that story.
Also,
got to know them.
was date of birth there again? We didn't none of that kind of stuff, man.
How did this all come about?
Yeah. So you were walking, and so it's kind of like that's what we love. That's what, like, every time we always say, we've never. When you listen back, like, we didn't even. Like, especially when you listen to the first one, like, there was so much stuff I wanted to ask Jordan that first time over that guest. And then you kind of subconsciously, when they come back, you look back and if only asked that question that I wanted to, or we touched on that subject that I wish that I'd got, more on. So, yeah. That's the beauty of the podcast.
Yeah, the second time around.
Yeah. So what was Christmas for you this year, man?
Hamilton?
No.
Franklin? No. Where is it? Where you going to go?
Port Waikato.
Yeah, that's right.
No, we'll spend New Year's down there. The Christmas is up here. We'll spend New Year's down there. It's still part of Auckland anyway. It's still classed as Auckland.
Yeah. Wait, was it a Fitu, or was my friend? He said he went out that way. Where did Bucky go? And he was telling me. He said it was just before Port of Waikato. And he said that I said to him, "Didn't you get stopped at the border or anything?" He said, "No, because it's kind of veers to the right or something like that." So we're still before Mercer. That's it. Yeah. So he said he went down there for to drop off a Nintendo Switch. But because he said he said to his wife, this is a chance for us to have a nice drive. So he went down on Saturday and he was showing me the photos Saturday night, and I, man, we have such a we're so blessed. we got to remember that too. You know, we are so blessed to live in this in this country in Aotearoa because, man, you know, we're all up in here, but like I've been down to Port Waikato as well, and I was like, man.
Yeah, even out west, you know, we also all these beaches, all these walks. It's all beautiful, you know. Yeah, but can't take it for granted. You know, me and my nephews try to do some walks out to do the walks and see the waterfalls and stuff like that, just to get to learn our own backyard. You know, like, oh man, I didn't even know this was here. Man, I should like do more exploring and all that sort of stuff. Just got to buy heaps of like lollies and stuff to put in the bag to make them want to come.
Are those treks? Are those walks open again? Because I know that they'd closed it down because of that.
The flooding.
Yeah. Oh no, and because it was that kind of that dieback or whatever. That kind of
like Cody dieback.
Yeah.
I think I think they're open. I'm pretty sure I've seen people walk them, or maybe not them all, but some of them are open.
Just check Phillies.
I was going to say that. I wait for Philly Tupper sitting on the side of a rock, and I go, "Oh, yep, it's open." He's always got the views, man. He's got the photos and all that.
Yeah.
So
you could have those Instagram photos.
Yeah.
Look at my back.
Yeah. No, man. It's good to have you back.
Thanks
you know,
for having me.
Which did 3 hours.
Did we?
Is that
Yeah.
all?
Wow.
See, that's what I mean, man.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
3 hours.
Well, you know,
It's always a pleasure, Jordan.
is that how long your trainings are? Because then, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that January the 1st one.
No, actually, we've cut it down to 45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So we can have a 15-minute break for the crew to go out and the next crew to come in.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we were joking about it before too. Like, oh man, when I take you guys back to hours, you're gonna feel it. Like, we're gonna feel an hour, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just 45 at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Some were 30 too. Some were 30. Back to basics was 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we just did like weights and stuff like that.
What's optimum time? What do you think is the where you can really get the maximum? I know we're finishing up, but I just wanted to ask that.
I like between 45 and 55.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you can an hour. I think an hour. You know, you're 5 minutes beginning to thing it to explain it. Takes anything more than 5 minutes. It's too complicated. And then 50. I say 50 minutes. In 5 minutes early. Before 50 minutes.
Me. Hey, you're gonna see me. You might see me January the 1st if I'm not.
We might be closed at first.
Oh,
we'll give it to you then.
That's a sign then.
Yeah, we'll give it to you. Yeah.
Well, if I walk past and if I look through the window, like, oh, Joe's not here, I'm gonna have to wait till the 5th.
I think Harry's got a key.
Oh!
No, jokes.
Harry Tawira, Mauso. Awesome, man.
Awesome, Jordan. Thanks, man, for coming on again.
No, thank you for having me. Pleasure.
Charles.